proven. Zen Cash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zen.com. UPI reports healthcare organizations based in Boston hope to expand their clinical partnership to engage more veterans with mental health and substance use diagnoses. The groups unveiled the initiative Thursday at the annual conference of the National Coalition for Homeless Veterans in Washington. In a nearly 3-year program, the Boston Healthcare for the Homeless program had set up a full-service clinic on site at the New England Center and Home for Veterans. Lena Asmar, director of behavior health programs at the New England Center and Home for Veterans, said the clinic is a safe and welcoming environment where caregivers can provide case management and counseling to veterans who are struggling with mental health issues and active substance use. Asmar said other veteran care centers are still resistant to work with folks who use drugs in the way that we do. If they're intoxicated, we won't kick them out. Asmar told dozens of Veterans Affairs managers at the Grand Hyatt Hotel that the clinic applies a harm reduction approach which respects the rights of patients who use illegal substances and aims to reduce negative consequences associated with drug use. The Boston Healthcare for the Homeless program and the New England Center and Home for Veterans started the office-based addiction treatment partnership in 2015 amid a rising number of opioid-related deaths among homeless veterans in the Boston area. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports 2 people were killed after floods triggered a landslide in North Carolina after Storm Alberto was downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone with diminished rainfall by the U.S. National Hurricane Center on Thursday. Jeff Virginia, spokesman for Watauga County Emergency Management, said rescue workers found 2 bodies after being alerted late Wednesday that the landslide had destroyed a home in Boone, North Carolina, in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Local media reported that heavy rains caused the landslide, which triggered a gas explosion. Video images posted to Twitter by the Boone Police Department showed an apparently charred home reduced to rubble. The National Hurricane Center said in its latest advisory that Alberto has become a post-tropical cyclone, adding flash flood watches remain in effect for the Western Carolinas, Northwest Virginia, and far eastern West Virginia. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
This week, badly shaken researchers reported observing an osprey stalking, killing, and devouring an adult male lion in what is being called a massive food chain shakeup. Confirmation of the 3-pound marine bird consuming the 400-pound feline has biologists scrambling to determine the new predator-prey connections between the planet's billions of organisms.
We seem to be experiencing some sort of cross-species dietary free-for-all.
Scientists say that the killing of the healthy, full-grown lion by a typical osprey specimen has lent credibility to recent reports of a deer seen grazing on a nest of squirrels in Wisconsin, as well as a claim made by a group of Japanese fishermen who say they witnessed 300 million krill devouring a 40-ton humpback whale. In other news, NASA acquires the moon for an upcoming Kennedy Space Center exhibit. A radio DJ invites the whole town to some bullshit, and assuming the many universes theory of quantum mechanics is accurate, the review you've just seen will remain relevant in another reality for all eternity. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free and join us here on the radio. You can bring up anything that you want. The number for you, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. In the studio with you tonight here, you've got Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
Plus, also, you can join us on Skype at Skype username lrn.fm. And then also, we've got the Discord on-air call-in line room, which allows you to get in there and get on with us and sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us. Go to discord.lrn.fm. You can get involved that way as well. We've got an update to start the show out with here tonight. A Manchild update. And no, we're not talking about our longtime caller, Dave in New York. We're talking about the man-child that has been in the news recently.
Yes. Michael Rotondo.
Yeah. New York, I believe, is where he's located.
Yes.
And he is the guy who made headlines because he got sued apparently by his own parents to get a judge's order to have him leave his parents' house. And he's 30 years old.
30-year-old man.
He didn't want to go.
Back in the news, Fox News has the story here. 30-year-old man who made headlines last week after he was ordered by a judge to vacate his parents' New York home has officially left the residence.
Okay.
But not before calling the police on his father.
Oh, no.
Regarding some missing Legos.
You've got to be kidding.
No, this is Fox News, not The Onion.
Okay.
Michael Rotondo waved to journalists as he loaded his station wagon with his belongings. The millennial told reporters he called police Friday morning because he believes that some of his 8-year-old son's Legos were in the basement, and his father would not let him go look for them. Instead, the father offered to look for specific items, and if he found them, would bring them out. The Legos were found after the police arrived.
Oh, holding out.
Michael Rotondo told the Post-Standard of Syracuse regarding the Lego situation, "This isn't a game show. I don't have time to guess what's behind door number 1.
Wow.
The parents'
Legos are expensive.
Yeah, that's true. They're very precisely, I don't know, like...
Hold on. If you just go buy
just expensive.
Legos.
Yeah, but they're like very precise, so it's
precise? What do you mean by that?
It requires
they're little pieces of plastic that link together.
Yeah,
right?
But it requires a more precise engineering thing in order to make them.
Is that just like a mold?
No,
yeah,
you're talking
there's different
about
types of like precision with like when you make stuff.
If you go buy one of the limited edition Lego kit things to where you can build your own Millennium Falcon, those are going to be expensive because they only make a handful of them. But if you're just going and buying, here's assorted Legos,
it doesn't work like that.
Not necessarily that expensive.
Only if you're getting them at like a thrift shop or something like that. Legos, I mean, I had Legos as a kid, and the reason I actually stopped buying them was not because I outgrew them, but because they got too expensive for me to, as a child or a young person, to be able to justify spending money.
Or maybe
on.
I'm just thinking of the off-brand things that look like Legos.
I'm sure there's somebody that's making off-brand, Lego products, probably in China or whatever. But if you go and you like, Legos are so big, they're such a phenomenon. They actually have their own store. They have their own amusement
they've got their
park.
Own theme park.
Yeah.
Yes,
more than one of them, as I understand it. There's like the Denmark home of Lego, and then there's at least another one or more than one that they have in other places in the world.
Yeah, there's at least one in California that I'm aware of. Legoland.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there's another one in like Florida or something like that. I know that when Mark and I went to Disney World for Coins in the Kingdom, which was a cryptocurrency event a few years ago, they actually had one of those Lego stores on the Disney property, and it was just packed full of people. I mean, I've never seen, except for like maybe a Walmart on Christmas, Eve or something like that, or Black Friday. I've never seen that many people in a retail establishment. It was just wall to wall. The cashiers never stopped. It was just, if you were a cashier at that store, you're on until you get a break. There is just no break whatsoever in the customers coming up and buying things. It doesn't stop.
Looking on Amazon.
Yeah.
They have something here called Lego Bricks and More Builders of Tomorrow set, where it's just, here's 650 Legos of various sizes and shapes. It is not, here's how you build a pirate ship.
'Cause that's the way most of them used to be. It was you'd get
They have those, but they also have these that are not sets.
Just like random Legos in a box.
So this particular thing has been discontinued by the manufacturer. $89.
For how many pieces?
650. So that's a bunch of Legos.
Okay.
Then just looking, they have Lego Classic Medium Creative Brick Box that is $28. And that's 484 pieces.
All right. Yeah, I guess maybe they've changed their business model or something. I don't think those existed in the 1990s.
I'm fairly certain they did. They do have a 1,500-piece Lego box.
Wow. I've never seen that before.
That's $166.
Never seen that before.
I
and I was
suspect
into
you're
Legos as a
probably
kid.
getting better prices there too online than what we would have seen in the 90s.
Right,
So-
and well, these are being sold by Lego through Amazon.
Yeah.
But getting back into the story here about the man-child, Mike Rotondo, his parents, Mark and Christina, filed a petition in the Supreme Court of New York State.
The
claiming,
Supreme Court?
Wait, what?
Yeah, we talked about this going to the state Supreme Court when we discussed this a few nights ago.
Oh, I must have missed that detail. I just thought they had a district court ruling or something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
didn't realize this either.
Yes, they
Wow.
filed a petition
Okay.
in the Supreme Court of New York State claiming they've had enough of their son living under their roof.
So it wasn't
Rotondo-
an appeal? Must be some kind of New York thing. You know, normally at the Supreme Court,
It may
you've
have
got to
worked
take an
its
appeal.
way through courts.
Yeah.
I don't know, and Fox doesn't give the entire legal
I'd be interested to hear
backstory
that because
here.
it would suggest that if it was working its way through the courts, that they would have lost at the lower court and that they would be appealing
You would think.
to.
Well, my understanding is that the son kept saying, I'm owed renter's rights, even though he had no lease and he was not
Oh.
renting. He was
Oh,
claiming
in-
renter rights.
Yeah, in New York
I
City.
need 6 months before you can kick me out.
It wouldn't surprise me if that was the rules in New York. I mean, it's one of the most pro-government, big statist places, and
Yeah.
you're likely to see more so-called renters' rights, where even squatters are likely
Right.
given some level of renters' rights.
Yeah, I think he was arguing he had a verbal contract, wasn't that the way they phrased it?
Let's continue
Yeah.
with the article instead of speculating
Sure.
and maybe they answer. He had refused the judge's request to work things out directly with his parents, who sat quietly nearby. He failed to persuade the judge to grant him another 6 months with his parents, and he was ordered to leave. The eviction drama began on February 2nd when the parents left their first note, saying Michael had 2 weeks to vacate his room at the family's house.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Rotondo did not take the threat seriously, and his parents brought him to court. On Friday, Rotondo stood outside the place he once called home, but had some trouble before then. His car, which has a broken coolant system, took a few tries to start. During his car trouble, he told reporters he said goodbye more or less to his parents before jumping into his rumbling station wagon. He told reporters, I got to get going before this thing blows up.
Wow.
He then waved and honked. As for his destination, he said he planned to spend the next week at an Airbnb in Syracuse. After
Those
that, he
poor
planned
bastards.
on moving in with a distant cousin.
Now, can you imagine being the Airbnb people? Like, I wonder
How
if they
the
know.
hell is he going to pay for it?
That's what I'm saying. He's jobless, number one. There's probably some people out there who've sent him money over
Was
the
he
internet.
jobless?
That's what the last story that we read
Okay.
about
Yeah.
him said. He was jobless.
I don't remember that detail.
Yeah, that's one thing I do.
That's
did
one of the
recall.
reasons the parents were fed up is
Is he
we've
wasn't
got a
getting a job.
30-year-old son that
Yeah.
doesn't work and doesn't do anything.
But now, you know somebody based on the news headlines is a renters' rights person, and now he's going into an Airbnb. I feel bad for those people if they don't know who they're dealing with. I mean, for all you know, that he's going to try to squat or something at the Airbnb, and
He's gonna try to claim
renters' rights there.
this whole 6 months thing for eviction
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
We're going to continue here. Your thoughts are welcome. The Manchild update here. The toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Of course, you can take control of the airwaves on the way. We've got a story about a swatting incident that Chris is going to tell us about, and an outrageous police settlement story, plus what's going on in Catalonia. We haven't gotten an update from that secessionist movement there. This is Free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy.
DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it.
And the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dinovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Zen Cash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zen Cash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zen Cash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here toll-free. If you want, you can bring up anything that's on your mind. We're talking about the man-child in the Syracuse area of New York, who has now left his parents' house, Michael Rotondo, I believe it was.
Yes.
Who is jobless and apparently recently went down to Austin, Texas to appear on the Alex Jones show, where Jones actually paid him $3,000 for the appearance.
So maybe that's how he's affording the Airbnb that he's going to stay at for the next few days.
He hasn't blown all the money yet, is what you're saying. Yeah, that could very well be the case. And by the way, in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
Sorry, Darryl. Still to come tonight, we've got the swatting, another swatting event that we will tell you about. But we were talking about this man-child update here. And you said the story's pretty much done. He's left his parents' house. He called the police on his father because he alleged that there were Legos in the basement belonging to his son.
Yes.
Because he was able to sire a child, given that that doesn't take any responsibility whatsoever to do, just somebody being willing to part their legs for him, which, I guess that's
happened
news.
About 9 years ago.
Yeah, and so
for this particular individual,
maybe he wasn't quite as much of a man-child back then, or maybe he was and just got lucky.
Wasn't it the case that he had an apartment for a while already, so he had been living on his own?
He was out on his own for a period of time, and then went back for some reason. I don't know what all the history is there. It doesn't really matter. It's just it's an interesting case
There
study.
was some kind of arrest, and I forget what the charges were. I think there was some kind of stalking.
Oh, that's right.
something,
Yeah,
and
against like the ex or something.
I don't think it was against the ex.
Okay.
But once you have a criminal record, it does make retaining employment a little more difficult.
And probably renting too, even especially in places like New York.
Right. So when you don't have a job, it's hard to pay rent.
Well, no, they do background checks.
Mark's a felon, and he could get work out of. I understand it's harder,
right?
But it's like the guy that calls this show over the years, Dave in New York, also in New York, who is like definitely a man-child, and always complains about not having a job.
Right.
Always complains about it. But whenever you ask him, "Oh, well, Dave, how many job applications did you put in this week?" It's like, nothing, none.
I walked around and I saw a place that had a sign, but I wasn't going to apply there because
it's too good. I'm too good for that place. That kind of attitude of like, oh, you need a job, but you don't really want to work at pretty much everywhere that has a job available.
Right. So the places that are willing to hire people with criminal records, people like this Michael Rotondo guy, I'm not going to work at Burger King. Like, that's beneath me.
Yeah, he'd rather sit around and mooch off of his parents all day. This isn't newsworthy in that there are plenty of people in this situation, and I'm sure there are also women who are, in this situation as well. We're calling them a man-child, but people who are irresponsible, people who have the capability of working, but won't do it. And, it comes right down to the people on the side of the road. There was some guy panhandling for money the other day over here in Keene at one of the usual panhandler spots.
Oh, yeah, I see him fairly often.
An older guy. I pulled up next to him, and I started a conversation with the guy. I wasn't just going to sit there and ignore him with him standing right next to my window. So I said, well, what's your story? And he claims, I can't work. Because something about his back, he worked in construction for dozens of years.
I'm always amazed at when somebody's out panhandling and they say they can't work.
Right.
What are you doing? Like, you're panhandling, right? Is that not work?
I was like, hey man,
that's harder work than I do.
I'm pretty sure Hannaford's is hiring a store which was literally right across the street from where he was that always has now hiring signs up. He's like, I can barely be on my. It's hard enough to just be standing here right now. Like, well, if you can stand here, and I didn't say this to him. That was kind of the end of the conversation. It was like, well, if you can stand there and panhandle, you can certainly stand at a cash register and take money from people. It's the same job. Right. You just probably actually make more panhandling. Like, just be honest. You probably do better per hour standing there than you would if you were inside a business and working for a paycheck. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, just that kind of mentality, and this guy was probably in his late 60s. I mean, he was an older guy. But so again, the man-child in New York, not an unusual case. These things happen all over the place, and they mentioned in the article millennial. Well, Gen Xers were doing this too, right? Like, it's not just that millennials are more likely to be at home with their parents. It's just this is sort of the American society that it's acceptable for a lot of people to do this.
One thing that's interesting is, it seems as though I'm just going to say like Western culture, if you will, it's frowned upon for families to like stay together while the kids are past schooling age.
Yeah,
where there are other places to where like the entire family just lives in the same house for multiple generations.
Yeah, and some of these things are financial too, financial aspects of it too. And it's actually interesting as we see more socialism in the United States, we're seeing more of the kind of stuff that's going on in Europe, where kids. It's common. Like they've got like a 40%. I think it's something like 40% unemployment rate or it might even be higher than that for people under 30 or something like that. It's just ridiculous.
In the U.S. or Europe?
No, I think it's like France or no, it might have been Spain. I'm thinking of. But yeah,
there's a whole
it's really
movement
high.
of anti-work in France. You see it on like May Day every year, where they come out and blow up a bunch of stuff and destroy things.
The taxes that the businesses have to pay in France are ridiculous.
But so part of the problem with young people, they're actually not able to get work because the laws prohibit employers from firing workers, so there's no opportunity for them for younger workers to be hired in the first place. So it is actually it really is hurting the younger population, and a lot of people who are willing to work are actually leaving the country.
Interesting.
I actually know somebody from Spain who basically fled because he couldn't get work in Spain. So
wow.
Yeah.
But there is also an anti-working mentality amongst a lot of the young up there. It's not that the people on May Day protests in France aren't protesting because they can't get jobs, right? They're protesting because they want less working. They want more leisure time.
We need a 12-hour work week.
Yeah, certainly that's the attitude, and that's also causing the problems for the people who want to work and they can't get jobs, that are younger.
Right, or if you're a business owner and if you can't fire somebody,
well,
then
that's exactly what's going on. They can't fire.
You're going to be reticent to hire somebody in the first place, even if you have a position open. You're going to be like, my God, what if I pick the wrong person? What if I pick one of these socialist thugs?
Well, one of the problems is if you can't fire people and your business declines, you want to make sure that you don't have too many employees if that situation occurs. So because if you can't fire them, you will go out of business, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically what's going on in Spain.
What a mess.
You can't hire young people because they passed a law that says you can't fire anybody, and if you can't fire anybody, then you got to make sure that you have a nice cushion of much more work than the people who are actually working for you can really handle.
Let's get Dodger on the line in Michigan. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Dodger.
Yes, I just kind of wanted to weigh in. I think that Free Talk Live heard first from me from this 30-year-old Manchild.
Okay, thank you for that.
That's why I brought it to your attention. I just kind of wanted to know in Voluntary society how something like this might be handled, because this was handled through the state and a judge that actually ordered.
Great question. Hang on, Dodger. Let's talk about it. Stick with us here. More coming up in moments. Your calls, thoughts, welcome. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. You can join us here on the radio. This is Free Talk Live. You can tell your story.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10-year shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at readytoeatbacon.com. readytoeatbacon.com.
We call it the crapper, water closet, outhouse, or bathroom. But where do you go when there's nowhere to go? The answer is the Biffy Bag. The Biffy Bag is a pocket-sized disposable toilet that fits in your glove box, tackle box, toolbox, backpack, or purse. The Biffy Bag has everything you need for a sanitary and comfortable relief experience. It's ready to use in just seconds, and just toss it in the trash when you're done. It's your Biffy in a jiffy. BiffyBag.com. BiffyBag.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love. But make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you about to meet the media? If you're about to be interviewed, do their homework for them. Know this about the person who will interview you. He or she is busy, so expect minimal, if any, preparation. He or she doesn't know as much about your topic as you do. He or she isn't as concerned as you are about getting your message out, so you need to take responsibility. Provide a biography and fact sheet, photographs, or other materials that tell your story. Reporters won't be put off if you supply frequently asked questions. Remember, Public Speaking 101, at the end of the speech, what's the one thing you want them to remember? You can download the document I supply to reporters who interview me and squirm through a video that demonstrates how not to conduct your media interview at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The Skype username is lrn.fm, and the Discord on-air call-in line room is there for you, too, over at discord.lrn.fm. Liberty.menu is where you can go if you are a liberty-minded person, and by that I mean an individual who rejects the initiation of force and agrees to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. That qualifies you to use Liberty.menu as either a business owner or a business operator who wants your business to be found by other liberty-friendly folks, or maybe you're somebody who's looking to find a business run by libertarians. You can give them your business. You can go to Liberty.menu to do those things. Also, if you're an events coordinator or digital content creator, there are entries for you as well. So you can create your own map points to show people where you're at, to show people what your business is, and it is super easy to use. Nice looking site. Glad it's there. Finally, a useful Liberty business directory. Go to Liberty.menu and you can get started there, and it's free to list your stuff. So if you got more than one business that you do, put them all up there. Liberty.menu. As we go back to Dodger in Michigan, and then Darryl, you've got some statistics regarding France and their unemployment/youth challenges versus, say, the United States. I think you might have wanted to share some of those, so we'll get into that in a bit. But Dodger, you'd called in about the Manchild, the 30-year-old Manchild in Syracuse, New York, who as of today has vacated his parents' house under a court order after his parents went to apparently the Supreme Court of New York to get an order for him to leave. The judge had told him that he should just work it out with his parents. He refused, and so the order came down. He's got to go. But you had asked the question of, well, how could this have happened? How would he have left their house, for instance, if there weren't like a centralized government, right? Like, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but was that kind of your question? If we had a voluntary society or a voluntarist society?
That is, and being a voluntarist, I mean, that's just kind of the way that I look at things. I think that the Manchild did his parents wrong by not adhering to their request that they leave their private property.
Sure.
Especially after the amount of time that they gave him. Oh, Lord, I mean...
20 years.
Right. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, and maybe for me, and I hate labels, and I want to add that in there, the millennial label, because if you were to look at dates, they would label me as a millennial, but I emancipated myself at the age of 17.
Nice.
And so I just I'm boggling my brain as to how a volunteer society would deal with a Manchild like this.
So this is a good question, and it comes down to questions about what society would look like, how it would be organized, because we know that libertarians generally are big fans of the idea of property, right? So that's kind of one of the bases of where we're coming from. And so the property owner, of course, has the right to control their property, and presumably we would be living in a society in which that is a continued belief, right? Because if people don't believe in property, we got a big problem on our hands. So presuming that
You're not kidding.
Yes. So presuming that the supermajority of people in any given area believe in the idea of property, then there's probably going to be some sort of enforcement that will be considered acceptable, right? So if somebody's staying on your property and you aren't able to physically remove them without, bringing some sort of harm to them or whatever that could embroil you even further in issues with that person, at some point you probably have to call in a professional to remove that person from the property.
And not just problems with that person, but also problems with the community.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
are you referring to like a commonly recognized arbitrator?
Well, I mean, if you want to go to arbitration, that's fine. But there's also the question of, like, for instance, in a lease, I'll put in a provision of, hey, if you don't honor the terms of this lease, there's a provision that says that private property, your property will be held, and the private property rules here will be enforced. And as far as I'm concerned, that could mean hiring a heavy to come over and physically remove somebody from a piece of property. Essentially, the private security, basically, if you needed something like that.
So do you think that our tax dollars, and I firmly believe that they will, but I would like to hear your opinion on it, if we did not have to pay those tax dollars, would be better served in a private insurance arbitration type of thing, as well as a private security force?
Yeah, I mean, so we don't know what things are going to look like in the future without a centralized government, right? We know people are going to want to have protection services. Yeah, I can, like I said, I'm just prefacing what I'm saying here with, I don't know what the hell's going to happen because I'm just a talk show host.
Right, and there are some people,
I can throw some ideas out there, but that's really all that they are based on other things I've heard.
That there are some people that say that at some point in the future, everybody's going to have to enter contracts with everybody before any interaction.
Well, that's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, but if somebody invites me over to a barbecue and then they say, "Oh, I need you to read and sign this contract in triplicate,"
like too much work.
Yeah, no one's going to do that.
Sorry, F off,
right,
and I'm not eating your burger.
There's certain societal things that you don't need contracts for that everybody kind of agrees with. Like when you go to the grocery store, you stop on the way out at those machines with the people standing by them and you give them money. You don't just walk out the door, right? Like you didn't sign a contract when you walked in.
Unless you're in the Amazon thing where it's all connected to your smartphone and they tell you
times are
have
changing.
to have this Amazon
Hold on. But you have signed a contract at that point.
With Amazon, you haven't at that point. But at regular grocery stores, you have not.
Of course. Right.
And so, there's just certain things that people understand to where if after the fact, the Manchild is physically removed by a heavy that you call over to remove the person, if after the fact he's like, well, you can't do that, I'm going to take you to an arbitrator. Well, then you walk into this arbitrator and you show the arbitrator, hey, look, here's the agreement with this, this person. They dishonored the agreement. Here's the evidence they dishonored the agreement. Presumably, the arbitrator would rule in the favor of the property owner. Right. Again, presuming that property is valued in that particular society.
Right. And if we're going to talk about, like weird hypotheticals in the future, all right, let's talk about the aforementioned barbecue. And let's say
where there's no contract at all. Yeah.
There is no contract. And I show up and I eat 3 hamburgers, but they only planned that everybody was going to have 2 hamburgers, and then they say, Darryl, you need to leave. But, you invited me to the barbecue. I'm not leaving. If they just decide to shoot me, technically, there are some libertarians that be like, well, at that point, you're trespassing. You deserved it. But I think everybody in the community would then frown upon the person shooting the people at the barbecue because they ate too many hamburgers.
Right, because they've escalated force beyond what was necessary to remove the person.
Well, they didn't shoot you for eating the hamburgers. They shot you for not leaving.
That's still not okay.
I agree. That's excessive use of force, right?
Yeah.
So I would say an appropriate use of force relative to the situation.
So it all depends on what ultimately what people want, right? Like if you're in a society of people who believe the maximum use of force is okay, like
at any given time,
like a bunch of Melanies and Christopher Cantwells, if those people are 90% of your neighbors, then that's a very dangerous.
Want new neighbors.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous place to live, and you probably should consider moving to a society where more things that are typical are found. So
it's not even like we don't have that situation now. There's dangerous neighborhoods where there's gangs and stuff, and people who are smart, they leave, right?
Sure, if they can. Yeah, if they can. So Dodger, I don't know. Did that answer your question at all? Like as a possible option of?
I mean, it just kind of sent me down because I heard a lot of different stuff, and I'm all for public sector solution for all of these government problems. And
did you mean private sector?
You said public sector.
I'm sorry. I'm all for private sector solution for government problems.
Yeah, I mean, because generally we know that we get a better deal from competition, where you get better service, you get a cheaper price, and more options in the marketplace, as opposed to the one-size-fits-all situation with the government that we currently have, where sometimes they'll come to a situation and remove the bad person from the situation. Sometimes they'll show up and shoot somebody completely unnecessarily. You really don't know what you're going to get when you call the cops.
We have coming up.
Hey, thanks, Dodger. I appreciate the call tonight. Thanks for the discussion. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733 if you want to weigh in. You're certainly welcome to do so. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Good technology is good, but the philosophy behind the tech is important. And Zen Cash was made by voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded into the white paper. With no central authority or single point of failure, Zen Cash is more resilient than a traditional corporation. Everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in decision-making, which empowers stakeholders and makes Zen Cash less susceptible to third-party influence. And Zen Cash allows for secure private transactions. Learn more at zencash.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Free Talk Live.
Are you saying there's something wrong with a gay couple adopting children?
Absolutely.
What could possibly be wrong about that?
Then the children are going to be raised by queers instead of by,
You are homophobic, aren't you, Tom?
No.
I think so.
But anyway.
What's wrong with them being raised by gay people?
Because gay people are unfit to raise children.
How dare you?
I object a lot. I had a friend who was adopted by gay parents, and he grew up just fine with completely normal values, and he's a very normal, functioning member of society.
I've met plenty of gay people in my time who I thought would make fantastic parents and would be far better parents than many of the white trash parents that are out there raising kids today. Tom, do you know any gay people?
I try not to, but...
Yeah, well, that figures, and you're about done. Thanks for the call.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. Bring up whatever you want. And we are talking about voluntary society, deadbeats, and manchildren. Like the guy in New York State who has left his parents' house now under a judge's order, age 30, jobless. Michael Rotondo got an update on him earlier in the show from Darryl tonight. You can join us with your thoughts. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. Certainly the voluntary society is not going to be a perfect place. It's not going to be a place where everybody's responsible. There's still going to be shiftless losers.
Right. It's not like we have that now either, though.
Yeah, the current society isn't perfect. There are people that don't want to be responsible.
Right, and some of them become politicians to where they can then tell other people what to do. So at least, in a voluntary society, we would not have a layer of bureaucracy and political class that everybody would be forced to pay into.
Right.
So if you didn't like the way a particular court system or arbitrator or whatever performed its duties, you could use their competition or start a competitor. If you didn't like the way a particular protection service provided its protection services, like the police blasting away somebody just because they got a phone call, or showing up at a domestic disturbance and forcing to take somebody off the property and arrest them, as many jurisdictions have mandates that police do.
Yep.
Even if by the time the police arrive, things have settled down and both parties are like, nope, we're fine, have a nice day. In a lot of cases, in jurisdictions, they will be just trucking somebody away in handcuffs anyway, because that's what the law says to do. So, there's so many different examples of how terrible the current system is. It's hard to imagine a competitive marketplace would be worse than what we currently have. But some people want you to believe that.
Right.
And, of course, there is always that fear of change. There's the fear of, my God, what would it look like? Well, how do we know? We don't know exactly how the marketplace is going to orient itself. We can sit here and think about it. Our ideas are as valid as anybody else's, which is to say, unless they're a security professional, then they're probably more valid. But we're just people with
it's interesting
ideas.
Because in a free society, right, we could organize ourselves into groups of people who have different values, right? Like
we could, yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a single system.
Right, and like the most ironic thing is, we often say we don't want centralized planning. We're against centralized planning.
Yeah.
So what would a society without central planning look like? Centrally plan the future for me.
Yeah. Tell us what it'll be. We don't know.
I could give you like half a dozen ideas of what I think might happen. So which one of those is it going to be? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sit there and tell people how it must be.
Yeah, I don't know who I would hire because I don't know who would be available in the market, what the options would be, and what I would think about it.
There is a answer to this. Come to Porkfest and compare the two. One is decentralized and the other is not.
Well, I don't know if that's an answer to the question, but it is an interesting study in contrast.
It is, because one is disorganized. It's decentralized. It's not centrally organized, right? And it's a little
These are
mini
libertarian
society.
camping festivals that you're referring to that happen every year here in New Hampshire.
Right,
However, it's apples to oranges, though. I mean, I appreciate what you're saying, and I'm not saying don't come to those events.
Yeah.
You should if you love liberty and you want to check out New Hampshire. It's a great excuse to do it. But not only are you comparing apples to oranges and the fact that they're differently organized, or the lack thereof, and organization, but also one's got 15 years under its belt, the other has 2. So
and also camping for a week is not real life.
That's true.
Although at the same time, if you die while you're camping for a week, you do die
really
in real
dead.
life.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's
I
true.
mean, but it's the closest thing that we have to compare, I think, unless you have a better example or a better thought as far as comparisons go.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't extrapolate much beyond the differences between camping festivals and how people are at the camping festivals. I mean, to extrapolate that out to society and all of its intricacies.
Yeah, like I could think of a handful of examples of how, voluntarily organized events operate different from centrally planned events.
Some things are good or better, and some aren't so much. I mean, you're more likely on a centralized camping festival to get fancy speakers because they've got a bunch of money that they can spend and a budget and things like that. Whereas, John Stossel isn't going to show up at the Fork Fest.
But the size of the events are not comparable. So if you had a disorganized, decentralized event that grew to a certain size,
somebody could hire John Stossel to show up.
I mean, you could end up with that situation.
And then they could have their own tickets that
and
they
there might be charging to enter a particular,
We can come back to this. I want to bring David on the line here in Pennsylvania, listening to WJET in Erie. Hello, David.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Welcome, sir. You're on the air.
Okay. About a year ago, there was a man on the radio, can't remember his name, but he was talking about, say, like the period of the 1790s when America was just getting going. And he was mentioning, if you look into the Constitution, there is nothing specifically establishing like a local police force or a state police force. And I know Pennsylvania didn't have one until like the 1900s, the state police.
Yeah, neither did New Hampshire.
And I guess what would be done, like if you had a problem with a person, you would go in front of a judge and swear under oath what your problem was. And if the judge thought there was merit, he would tell the sheriff to come bring this individual in front of him. And that was the gist of how things were done in those days. However, if you lived in a more affluent community, you had hired guards. And they would patrol your community for you. So they would be responsible to the community that hired them.
Just like today.
And then over time, poor people kind of got to the idea, well, we can't afford our own guards. And so they started asking cities and whatnot to provide a police force. And that's how we got to the point where we're at now.
Is that really how it happened? Because I suspect that it wasn't through the demands of the poor that the police came about. Didn't they come about from returning slaves to their masters?
Not according to this author, and like I said, I cannot remember his name. So,
okay, I thought that maybe it was in the South or something like that. I could have sworn I'd heard that in the past, but I'm not a historian, so I don't know Jack.
Well, there were certain people whose entire job was to go capture slaves.
Yeah.
But I don't know if those people necessarily became the police after slavery was abolished,
or during, or whenever it was. I don't know. Maybe somebody who knows or has other opinions can weigh in here, because it doesn't seem like any of us really know.
I myself am relatively low income, and I was thinking about things that go on in my neighborhood. I think my entire neighborhood probably could get together and hire our own guard who would be responsible to our needs instead of relying on the police. Because poor today is not the same thing as poor in 1900.
Well, you're much more wealthy today than you would have been if you were in 1900. Like, you've got air conditioning, you've got multiple cell phones in a poor household, multiple television sets. So it's much nicer today. But all that said, the poor certainly do not get the best response from the police, right? The police are much more likely to give better service, if they're going to wealthy people than they are the poor. So it was a crappy deal, if indeed that was the deal.
And you know what else is?
And I noticed the difference within my own city. Like I said, I personally am poor. I live near a housing project.
Mm-hmm.
But when my grandparents had died, my mother put me in their house until it could be sold, and they were in a much more affluent part of the city. I'll tell you, every social service that we got, whether it be garbage pickup or calling the police, it was all so much better in the other neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
What were you going to say, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing to think about is that the part of the reason that we have poverty the way we have it today, with people who actually make quite a bit of money, is because of the taxes that get the hidden taxes that we have that get taken. Like, for example, when you might not own property, but have you ever taken into account the fact that you're part of your landlord's your landlord pays taxes, so that increases the cost of your rent. No landlord is going to rent to you for less than the cost of the taxes on the property.
Sure.
So you wouldn't necessarily be as poor as you are today if it wasn't for all of these free, so to speak, government services, right?
Many of which you probably don't have any use for or have ever even used.
Yeah.
So I found an article from time.com about the history of policing in America. The first full-time police officer force in the U.S. was Boston in 1838. Boston was a large shipping center, and the merchants, or rather the shippers, had been paying for services, but they decided that they could save money by convincing everybody that policing was a collective good and having everybody pay for it.
So it was business people wanted to collectivize the costs.
In Boston, in the South, it did come about
from slavery.
Because of slavery.
All right. Hey, David, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. We'll continue. Actually, we've got police-related stories here, so it's a good time to get into those on the way. The toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us, 855-450, free like freedom. Darryl, you've got an outrageous, apparently, police settlement case in a violent situation.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long-distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Our homegrown small business tries to help people just like us. That's why we design and test our handmade products with great care before we introduce them to the public. You can easily find Sunny Bay heating pads on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and search for Sunny Bay heating pads.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, June 1st, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.39 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,295 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $30, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,422. Antiwar.com reports the European Court of Human Rights concluded a protracted investigation into CIA black site detention centers within signatory countries on Thursday. The European Court of Human Rights concluded that both Romania and Lithuania knowingly hosted such detention sites. Poland had already been found 4 years ago to have done so as well. The secret detention centers contravene the European Human Rights Convention, of which the nations are signatories. The convention prohibits torture, and the courts noted that the nations definitely knew CIA treatments would be in violation of this. The two nations had yet to publicly admit to hosting the sites. Lithuania hosted a site from February 2005 to March 2006, while Romania's site went from September 2003 to November 2005. Lithuania's site included detention of Zain al-Abidin Mohammed Hussein, a stateless Palestinian whom Lithuania subsequently allowed the CIA to move to Afghanistan for further torture. Romania's site hosted Saudi national Abd al-Rahim Hussein Mohammed al-Nashiri, whom the U.S. is seeking the death penalty against. Supporting the death penalty is also in violation of the Human Rights Convention. The court had ordered both nations to conduct internal investigations into hosting of the illegal facilities and to punish all officials responsible for hosting the U.S. sites. Lithuania already did one investigation back in 2010, but claimed the site never hosted prisoners, which has since been disproven. Zen Cash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zen Cash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zen Cash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports healthcare organizations based in Boston hope to expand their clinical partnership to engage more veterans with mental health and substance use diagnoses. The groups unveiled the initiative Thursday at the annual conference of the National Coalition for Homeless Veterans in Washington. In a nearly 3-year program, the Boston Healthcare for the Homeless program had set up a full-service clinic on site at the New England Center and Home for Veterans. Lena Asmar, Director of Behavior Health Programs at the New England Center and Home for Veterans, said the clinic is a safe and welcoming environment where caregivers can provide case management and counseling to veterans who are struggling with mental health issues and active substance use. Asmar said other veteran care centers are still resistant to work with folks who use drugs in the way that we do. If they're intoxicated, we won't kick them out. Asmar told dozens of Veterans Affairs managers at the Grand Hyatt Hotel that the clinic applies a harm reduction approach, which respects the rights of patients who use illegal substances and aims to reduce negative consequences associated with drug use. The Boston Healthcare for the Homeless program and the New England Center and Home for Veterans started the office-based addiction treatment partnership in 2015 amid a rising number of opioid-related deaths among homeless veterans in the Boston area. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports 2 people were killed after floods triggered a landslide in North Carolina after Storm Alberto was downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone with diminished rainfall by the U.S. National Hurricane Center on Thursday. Jeff Virginia, spokesman for Watauga County Emergency Management, said rescue workers found 2 bodies after being alerted late Wednesday that the landslide had destroyed a home in Boone, North Carolina, in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Local media reported that heavy rains caused the landslide, which triggered a gas explosion. Video images posted to Twitter by the Boone Police Department showed an apparently charred home reduced to rubble. The National Hurricane Center said in its latest advisory that Alberto has become a post-tropical cyclone, adding flash flood watches remain in effect for the Western Carolinas, Northwest Virginia, and far eastern West Virginia. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Here is the Onion Week in Review Transportation Edition. In Albany, a Greyhound bus crash claimed 30 miserable lives Tuesday, finally putting over 24 deadbeat fathers, penniless drug addicts, and hapless bastards out of their misery. Emergency crews at the scene of the merciful accident described the sea of fast food bags, candy bar wrappers, and losing lottery tickets surrounding the crash site as utterly tragic, adding that the scorched corpses inside the bus were, quote, only slightly more lifeless than before the deadly accident.
Evidence suggests that most of the victims suffered during the crash, and for many years before they even boarded the bus. All I can say is, thank God no one made it.
Al-Qaeda is refusing to carry out any further terrorist attacks until the U.S. mass transportation infrastructure is drastically improved, calling the country's roads and bridges a, quote, travesty, unbecoming of a developed first world nation.
We want to turn your bridges into rubble. But if we took credit for making them collapse, no one would ever believe us.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Just dial in here toll free at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up tonight, we've got a swatting story on the way, but first we're going to start out with the police and an outrageous 4-cent settlement case that Darryl has to tell us about.
Yeah, this is just absolutely ridiculous.
It's Ian, Chris, and Darryl in the studio, but for those of you just tuning in, this kind of ties in also with the discussions we were having before about the larger picture of what would, caller asked, what would it look like if you had a man-child on your property and he refused to leave without the government, courts, or police? How do you deal with a situation like that? Which led to a discussion about what things might look like in a voluntary or consensual-based society, a voluntarist society, a truly libertarian society where there might be choices when it comes to enforcement, when it comes to protection services, when it comes to arbitration services, which is basically what the courts and the police provide, supposedly, today, but do a really crappy job with it. I mean, just talk to anybody that's been in the court system. Just talk to anybody that has spent time having to deal with the police. In a lot of cases, unless you are the most elite, wealthy in society, you probably found that those interactions left a lot to be desired. And even if you are wealthy, you probably haven't had a good time in court as well. So, Darryl, you had a story, again, about this settlement, which has to do with both bad policing and bad courts.
Yes. Story here comes from the Miami Herald in 2014. So they begin with the backstory.
Yep.
In 2014, 2 officers with the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office in Florida went to the home of Gregory Vaughn Hill Jr. for a noise complaint. Hill, a 30-year-old black man, had been blasting an expletive-laden song by a rapper named Drake, and an unhappy neighbor heard the song, called police to complain. The 2 deputies, including Christopher Newman, arrived to the house and knocked on the garage door, which Hill opened. The officers exclaimed...
Mistake number 1.
What, playing
opening
loud
the
music
door.
opening the door. Opening the garage door?
Opening the door.
Don't open it.
The officers then exclaimed that he had a gun. According to a lawsuit from Hill's family, he then closed the door. Newman then fired bullets through the garage door.
Wow.
Hitting Hill once in the head, twice in the chest.
So wait. Dude just claimed to have a gun? He didn't flash the gun.
No. The officers.
Oh, the officers
said. So I'm going to play the scenario here. Knock. Door opens. He's got a gun!
Oh.
Door closes, and then they fire at him.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And they're blaming him for this?
Hill's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit in 2016 after a jury did not indict Newman. The family hoped to receive compensation for their suffering and wanted a jury to determine whether any of the deceased man's rights had been violated. Police say that Hill brandished a handgun and refused to drop it when ordered, according to the New York Times, but his family disagrees. A jury just handed down its decision. It led John Phillips, the family's attorney, to use a bold expletive: Black lives don't matter. At first, the jury gave the family $4.
Wow,
that included
that's
a
insulting.
single dollar for each of Hill's children, who are now aged 7, 10, and 13, and $1 more for funeral expenses.
Wow.
But,
unbelievable.
But the jury found that Hill had been drinking and thus was 99% responsible for his own death. So the $4 was then reduced to 4
So does this mean I can just shoot anybody who's drinking? Because
no, you're not a cop.
No, you're not a cop.
Wait a minute. Okay, so this just
if you
drives
dress
me
up as a cop and then you shoot somebody, then you get charged with impersonating a police officer.
So
and
we have higher standards for our military overseas, right? Like they're not supposed to shoot until they've identified the enemy, right?
It's not just identify the enemy. Like there are standards of if the enemy is unarmed,
rules of engagement or whatever.
Right, there are rules of engagement.
Right, like you're. Oh man,
it's frustrating.
How is it that we can have a police force that has less responsibility to the people than our military, who are literally they know they're being shot at, as opposed to a cop who doesn't even know if the person has a gun?
Yeah. Was it proven? Do you know? It may not have said in the story, but whether he actually had a gun, because it said the family denied it.
Right, which suggests that there's no evidence that there was a gun.
Well, maybe he had the gun, but the family's just denying that he would have brandished it. Who knows? And that's a problem. We don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It is, he said, she said, or in this case, they said, and what his family said, because they weren't there and he's dead. So there's no witness on his side, it sounds like, that can really testify.
Right, but, one would think that they would have, after shooting him and then opening the garage door and then walking into the garage saying, oh, he didn't have a gun. So just a quick search for Gregory Vaughn Hill unarmed. There are some reports that he was unarmed. But again, the police said, he's got a gun! And so then he closed the garage door. Meaning, there's a garage door between him and the police.
Well, it didn't stop their bullets, apparently.
He was not a threat to anyone.
Well, I mean, they shot him through the door. So if he did have a gun, he could have shot through the door at the police, in theory.
Yeah, but the police could have moved 2 feet in one direction or the other, and he wouldn't have known where to shoot.
Well, that's one of the reasons why he never should have opened the door in the first place.
Right. Yeah,
Let's continue on.
Especially if he
the
was
story.
indeed brandishing a gun, just like drunkenly playing with a gun in his garage to rap music or something like that. I mean, it's not unbelievable that could be happening, but you'd have to be pretty wasted to brandish a gun in front of the cops like that.
Yeah.
His fiancée, Monique Davis, told NBC that the decision left her feeling shocked.
Yeah.
She said,
That's
my
worse.
heart just dropped. It was like, are y'all serious?
Yeah, that's not just a shock. That's a slap in the face. I mean, that's the equivalent of leaving a penny on the table for your server. Like if you get really bad service at a restaurant, they say, right, I've never left such a bad tip like this, but some people say that if you really want the server to know how bad they were, you leave a penny, because then it shows that you are acknowledging you left them something, the least possible tip you could have left. Because if you leave nothing, then they could think, oh, well, they just forgot. Right? Whereas with the penny, they didn't forget. This is the same kind of slap in the face of like, oh, yeah, the police are responsible, but only
1%.
a dollar's worth or $4 or whatever.
I mean, this is basically saying they're not responsible. Yeah. Like there's absolutely no responsibility for that. I mean, and the courts have ruled that too. I mean, that they have no obligation to protect you, and they also have no liability if they, abuse their position to shoot people who aren't even armed. And I'm just.
And it's the second bad jury response, because in the opening of the story, they pointed out that the grand jury refused to bring down an indictment against the officers, or officer in this case. So the first slap in the face was the grand jury didn't bring criminal charges, so they tried a civil route, and then they get hit with this, or they get this $4 settlement.
Well, 4 cent.
4 cent, yeah.
Settlement. Because of he was 99% responsible because drinking and loud music.
Yeah.
The lawyer lamented that the jury sent the message, quote, that they viewed these children's pain as virtually worthless. He said, I'd have rather seen 0 than have to tell the children that their pain and suffering for losing their father was only worth $1.
Yep. And he never shot at them, and there was never any kind of actual threat knowingly to the police that we can tell in the story. Because you can't believe the cops. You know, they've been caught lying so many times.
It's routine, and it's literally what they're saying is basically he had a gun. Okay, so it's not illegal to have a gun. It's not illegal to be drinking.
No,
so,
especially in your home.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's
it's
not
just
illegal.
outrageous.
As far as I'm aware, it's not illegal to listen to Drake.
Right. And now, there may be some states where it is illegal to have a gun in your own home. I don't know. But I suspect like California,
it's outrageous because it's not constitutional.
But in Florida, you can absolutely own a gun and have a gun in your own home. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I used to live down there. The toll-free number here is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. More
and
of the
story? Sheriff has some thoughts here.
Well, I'm sure that'll be golden on the way. You can also share your thoughts with us on Free Talk Live, 855-450 free like freedom.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open your Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. Blinkprotect.com/FTL to save 15%.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zen Cash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zen Cash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, take control of the airwaves, and bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom, brought to you by Bitcoin.com. You want to get the latest news headlines about Bitcoin, the world of cryptocurrency, around the globe every single day. There's fresh information over at news.bitcoin.com. That's news.bitcoin.com. You can go there and do that. Or maybe you're brand new to the world of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and you want to learn the basics. Well, then head over to bitcoin.com. They got some good introductory information there as well. Once again, that's bitcoin.com. As we continue here, Ian, Chris, and Darryl in the studio tonight. Darryl, you're sharing with us an outrageous story. A man in somewhere in the Miami area was in his garage,
St. Lucie County,
and he was jamming out to some
Drake.
Some Drake. He had some busybody called the police on him.
Drake said some dirty words.
Maybe it was really loud. I mean, we don't know, right? We weren't there.
Right. Well, it mentioned that it was expletive laden.
Yeah. And the police showed up. They knocked on the garage door. May have been a lot louder than that, Darryl. I don't even know if that mic's is going to pick that up. But, sometimes they got that cop knock.
Right.
And dude comes to the door, answers the door. The cops yell, "He's got a gun." And then he closes
the door.
And they proceed to blast him through the garage door, apparently, and end his life, leaving him with 3 children that do not have a father.
Yes.
And the jury, in a civil case, because the criminal jury refused to hand down an indictment,
right.
A civil case jury awarded him $4, of which they said the police were only responsible for 1%, so he got 4 cents.
Yes. And his lawyer, again, said, "I'd rather have seen 0 than to have to tell these children that their pain and suffering for losing their father is worth only $1.
Yeah, it's an insulting verdict.
Sheriff Ken Mascara praised the jury's decision, writing on Facebook, "We are pleased to see this difficult and tragic incident come to a conclusion." Deputy Newman was placed in a very difficult situation, and like so many fellow law enforcement officers must do every day, he made the best decision he could for the safety of his partner, himself, and the public, given the circumstances he faced. We appreciate the jury's time and understanding.
Cursing does not justify murder. I don't know what planet these people are living in, but no, and neither does a gun. Possessing a gun and interrupting somebody who's listening to their music does not justify murder.
Well, again, it's easy to jump to the conclusion that the cops are lying because cops in so many cases have lied.
Okay, wait a minute. Even if they weren't lying, and I'm not jumping to the conclusion that they were lying, it still doesn't justify murder.
Well,
nothing that they said justified murder.
What if they're telling the truth? What if they open the door up?
So what if he had a gun?
Well, if you point a gun at the cops, they're going to shoot you, and arguably...
That's not what they said. They said he was brandishing a gun. They didn't say that he was pointing a gun at them.
That's true. Brandishing isn't the same as pointing, but
trust me, if he had been pointing a gun at them,
they would have said
They would have said it.
Well, yeah. You're right about that. You're probably right, but if he indeed, reached down into his belt, started to pull a gun out from his belt, and as though he were going to do something, like usually if somebody's pulling a gun, they're probably going to use it.
Right.
At that point, the police would have been justified.
He closed the door on them. How is that going to happen?
Yeah.
If they literally had to shoot through the door, okay? Yeah. That's not somebody who is pulling a gun out to shoot the officer. That's somebody who's trying to get away from the officer.
You would think, but there's still the possibility of shooting somebody through the door. So I'm playing devil's advocate here. That's
the most ridiculous thing.
Continuing on with the story here from the Miami Herald, the deputies did not realize that they had killed Gregory Hill after shooting through the garage door, according to the family's lawyer. So the police then shot canisters of tear gas through windows and called a SWAT team and snipers.
And there was a standoff for a dead man?
The family argues that the tear gas virtually destroyed the home.
Oh, I bet.
Court documents
Can you imagine?
allege that Hill was found with an unloaded handgun in his back pocket.
Did they identify where the handgun had come from? I mean, was there records of this guy having purchased the gun somewhere? Or because I mean, if you can't even tie the gun to the person that it's supposedly near,
maybe they planted it.
Right? Exactly.
Could be.
Yeah. And again, they're just alleging in some court documents. They have no evidence. Right. If they had pictures, they would say, here's photographic evidence.
Yeah, the thing is, there's not a whole lot of evidence on either side of this case. Right. The dude in the house didn't have a security system, right? So you didn't get to see any video of this. The cops don't have body cams, do they?
Video? They do have video.
Really?
A SWAT team first discovered that Hill was dead using a robot to photograph the inside of the garage.
Yeah, that's after the fact. I mean, while the incident was going down. I think it's ridiculous that they basically had a standoff with a dead man in this particular case, which is what it sounds like.
There were some cops on the other side of the state of New Hampshire that had like a 17-hour standoff with an empty house.
Right, somebody who wasn't home.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. Hill's fiance, continuing with this story, Hill's fiance said she's not going to rest until she feels that justice is served.
Well, get
telling
ready for
the New York
restless
Times,
nights.
I'm going to keep fighting until I get some justice. That's the only way I'm ever going to get some peace.
I'm sorry, you're never going to get it.
Yeah.
I wish I had better news for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot's going to have to change for anybody to get justice.
All right, so it's worth pointing out here again that, okay, I want to be clear. I'm not saying it's okay to blast music and disturb your neighbors. If that's what was happening, and it certainly could have been, right? Like, this isn't unheard of. I've seen houses before where they've been pretty loud, and I can understand why.
I got a noisy neighbor, actually.
Would be upset. Right?
Yeah, and I know some of my partner gets upset when they have their loud parties late at night.
Sleep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's okay, but certainly death is not an appropriate response to loud music. So there's got to be a appropriate middle ground. If you are playing loud music, if you're at a college party or you're just having a party of your own or whatever, and somebody knocks on your door and you can identify that it's the police, or even if you can't identify that, like if you don't know who the person is and nobody in your house is expecting somebody your grandma or somebody's grandma is supposed to show up or something like that. If you don't know who the person is in this day and age, it could be the cops. And if it's the cops, you could end up dead. So better to not open the door and talk to them at all.
And it sounds to me like the whole situation was he closed the door because the cops said, it was the cops who yelled, he has a gun, right?
Supposedly.
So if somebody would yell, you have a gun, it sounds like they're going to shoot you. And clearly, he seems to have thought that, and they did shoot him.
If he had a bag of Skittles and an Arizona iced tea, he'd have got his head bashed in on the sidewalk.
Too.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the Facebook post here, and there are not any good comments
from the public on the cop.
Oh yeah,
this is on the sheriff
on the sheriff's thing where they've got their statement about we're so glad this is over.
I'm surprised they're allowing the comments.
One of the comments says, "Hey, my neighbor's being really loud today. Come do your thing."
Oh wow,
jeez,
and obvious sarcasm.
Yeah,
there. A bunch of others. This is pathetic.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? They're all going to keep paying for it. And this comes back around to what we talked about before, is you get crappy service from the government police, you just get to keep paying for it. You can complain. Go down to the city council. Have yourself a complaint. They're going to file that in the circular file with all the rest of them because they don't care.
This is why we call you pigs, just like an Animal Farm.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. What can you really do about it? Well, if you're a liberty-minded person, you ought to consider making the move to New Hampshire so we can actually try to work on changing things for the better, because just complaining about it isn't going to make a change. It's Free Talk Live.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10-year shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at ReadyToEatBacon.com. ReadyToEatBacon.com.
Frustrated trying to get business capital? Want to take the slow process and rejection out of the equation? GCNLoans.com removes the slow, irritating approval process. Instead, get quick, simple funding. Powered by David Allen Capital, 80% of our pre-qualified clients are approved in days. Pre-qualify at GCNLoans.com and get your money this week. It's that easy. GCNLoans.com. That's GCNLoans.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free and take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And the Skype username is lrn.fm. Also in the studio with you here tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
Don't forget, we've got Discord. The Discord on-air call-in line room is available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. And Free Talk Live is brought to you by Zen Cash, where you should go to learn more at zencash.com about this cryptocurrency that is one of the myriad of options out there. Why should you consider Zencash? Well, if you care about freedom and you appreciate the ideas of voluntarism, which we were discussing earlier, the idea that human interaction should be consensual, well, they wrote voluntarism right into their white paper as part of Zencash. So it was created by people who love freedom. It was created by people who understand economics, and they also brought in some of the best technology in order to do this, including zero-knowledge anonymity. So if you're looking for privacy, Zencash can give you that ability, unlike Bitcoin. And also unlike Bitcoin, Zen Cash has even more secure nodes than Bitcoin's network does. Bitcoin has about 10,000 full nodes last I checked, and Zen Cash has over 11,000 secure nodes. So you go and learn more about Zen Cash, do your due diligence over at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. We've been talking about an absolutely outrageous police settlement and behavior on the part of the police that it's so easy to be cynical here. And I'm not saying I disagree with your assessment, Chris, that the cops are probably lying about saying the guy was brandishing a gun, slamming the door, and then blasting away at him after that happened, killing him and leaving a dead father for his 3 children. I totally think you're probably right, because we've seen so many situations where the cops have been proven to be liars by video evidence, and even in many of those circumstances, they are let off from any kind of criminal responsibility for their actions, because all they have to say is, I was afraid for my life. Even if there was no actual threat to the officer whatsoever, as long as they say they were afraid for their life, they can justify anything, including shooting a 12-year-old kid at a park in Cincinnati, including shooting a what was it, a flashbang grenade into a crib of a baby.
Yep.
They can justify all kinds of things.
One situation where 2 officers had a 90-pound high school kid held onto the floor. A third officer showed up, said, I don't have time for this, and shot the kid in the back.
Jesus.
No charges against any of them.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
There's just story after story after story. So, I don't blame anybody for being cynical. But the fact is, having more evidence on your side is the only way to get through this. The lady, the girlfriend or fiance or whoever it was in this case, who said she wants justice, without any kind of proof on either side, the cops are always going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
The courts are always going to rule. The juries are always going to rule. Even with all of the outrageous things that police collectively have been involved in, many juries are going to rule in favor of the police unless they are given express reason not to. And without evidence, without video.
Yeah, beyond, what's funny is I'm very much, I tend to be somebody who will give people, I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. But in a situation like that, what we know of what happens based on the police's own, what the police have said, I don't think I could. There's two different sets of evidence. There's the one beyond a reasonable doubt, and then preponderance of the evidence. And beyond a reasonable doubt is what you need in a criminal case. I think I would have convicted probably in this case with the police if they had been charged. I don't even think this is just a preponderance of the evidence case. From the sounds of it, it's hard for me. It would be hard for me to believe that any other situation was, there was another possible situation. I can't fathom, somebody closing the door on an officer to be a threat to the officer.
Right, because it would be one more step in between shooting the officer if that was their intention.
Right.
So, in other related news, Chris, you have a story of a swatting incident, as it is called.
I do.
And I will describe what swatting is for people who don't know, I presume.
Yeah, so swatting is where somebody calls the police in order to get them to send out a SWAT team.
With a false report.
A false report, yep. In order to get them to send out the police and basically, raid their home or their house and
right. I think it was originally created as a really nasty prank. That they were pulling. This was many years ago. That there were some kids playing video games, or somebody was playing video games on the internet, and somehow they knew who one of the people was that was involved in it, and they wanted to be mean to the person, so they called the cops on them.
Yeah, it may, and
they watched it happen apparently through some sort of video.
There's always been people who basically call the police 911 and report incidences, bomb threats, for instance, especially with schools and things like that. And this seems almost like an extension of that.
Yeah.
To me, and this is certainly something that is common. As I think we brought up off air here.
We've heard about it several times.
Yeah, it's something that happens in the gaming community in particular.
It's sick. People should not do this to people.
Yeah, it's not just in the gaming community, but it's certainly something that a very small number of people in that community who may not be right in the head have committed repeatedly.
That's a nice way to say it, not right in the head.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into this story. So this story is from WLWT.com.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure what that stands for, but I'm assuming it's
Those
a local
call letters.
Yeah, like is it? So it's like a radio station,
probably television or radio station.
Yeah. So the title of the article is "Deadly Swatting Case in Kansas Shares Link with Cincinnati Incidents." It happened at 2 a.m. on December 18th. They just said stay away from any windows, so we did. Fisher said. Fisher watched the Cincinnati SWAT team surrounded as they surrounded a house across from his on Whitkind Terrace in College Hill. It turned out to be more than a false alarm. This was definitely a swatting incident that occurred here last December, and luckily it was handled very well. Cincinnati Police Lieutenant Paul Newegate said it turned out for us without incident. Oh, that's good. Swatting involves someone making a false emergency call to lure police to the address of an unsuspecting person. Yeah, that's probably better definition.
It doesn't always have to do with playing gaming, but that's where it originated.
Yeah,
that's where the first
that's a much better
incident happened.
Yeah, much better explanation of what it is than I think than what we were given. Yeah. 10 days after the swatting incident in College Hill, Newegate said a nearly identical fake 911 call was made in Wichita, Kansas. Only in that case, SWAT officers ended up shooting and killing an innocent man.
Oh, no.
Yeah. What we know...
we talked about that situation in Wichita.
Did we?
Yeah.
This was a little while back.
Happened back in December.
Okay.
Yep. I think that's right. It's actually going to go into that. What we know is that the facts and circumstances and the verbiage were very, very similar, Newegate said. The house at the center of the swatting incident in College Hill was once home to 18-year-old Casey Vanier, who now lives nearby in North College Hill. In Kansas, federal prosecutors said Vanier instigated the fake 911 call that ended with the death of 28-year-old Andrew Finch on December 28th. So this is interesting. So he lived, let me see if I'm reading this correctly. He once lived at the address in which he called. That got raided.
Huh. So basically, do you remember an address that you used to live at one time?
Yeah.
Would basically be you call police and make up some kind of claim of such and such.
So he didn't know
4th
the dude?
Avenue.
So he didn't know the dude? He was just randomly calling the police in on his old house?
That's what it sounds like.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think it's somebody he did know who moved in after he left, I guess, and they were playing games together. But let me continue with the story. Federal prosecutor said the Wichita case began after Vanier lost a small bet while playing the video game Call of Duty with two men online. That's when investigators said Vanier asked a game player in California to place a fake 911 call. So he didn't actually make the call. He
got somebody else to do it?
Yeah.
Wow, what a dupe. All right, more coming up here in moments. Somebody asks you to call the cops with a fake call. That is not going to end well, generally. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's a bad idea to talk to the police in any circumstances. Yeah. You certainly don't want to call them unless you absolutely have to. More coming up.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open the Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime, which is why I chose Blink. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
We call it the crapper, water closet, outhouse, or bathroom. But where do you go when there's nowhere to go? The answer is the Biffy Bag. The Biffy Bag is a pocket-sized disposable toilet that fits in your glove box, tackle box, toolbox, backpack, or purse. The Biffy Bag has everything you need for a sanitary and comfortable relief experience. It's ready to use in just seconds, and just toss it in the trash when you're done. It's your Biffy in a jiffy. BiffyBag.com. BiffyBag.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. Toll-free number for you, 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. If you appreciate what we do here on Free Talk Live, you want to help support the show, one way you can do that is by becoming a Free Talk Live amplifier over at amp.freetalklive.com. It's $5 a month. We will take that $5 in and add it to other people's $5, and then with that, we can reach out to new radio stations, bring new stations on board. We just crossed the 190 station mark this week. So, yes, thank you. In fact, I need to announce a new station, but not until the next hour because they're not on yet. So I want to. I got to remember. Yeah, I got to remember to do that. So
write yourself a note.
I did. I got to remember to look at the note. So anyway, so if you want to help us get on more stations, then please become an amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. It's the reason why we're on as many stations as we are, is because we have support directly from listeners like you. And you get some cool perks like access to the AMP-only call-in line room, or the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only chat room, AMP-only Facebook group, and there's some more perks as well. Go get all the details. Get signed up using PayPal, using credit card, or Bitcoin Core. It is up to you over at amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com. We can get back into the swatting story, because Darryl, you've been doing some research on it as well.
Yes.
We'll continue, Chris, with your piece here in just a moment. But first, Marcia's on the line. She's in Albuquerque listening to Kiva. Hello, Marcia.
Hi. I have a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Census Bureau. Well, I got the survey, the American Community Survey.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that what that is.
We are aware of that. That's the one that comes out more often than every 10 years. So the census is supposed to be constitutionally every 10 years, but they went ahead and just added this extra thing that happens during that 10-year window.
Right. And even though it says, like, you're required something to fill it out, you're not actually required to fill it out.
Yeah.
And if you put it in a shredder, then they will never prosecute you at all.
Well, that's not legal
they
advice,
told
but
me-
that's our understanding, at least.
Well, I called the American Civil Liberties Union. They never called me back. I went to Senator Tom Udell's office, and the guy just blew me off. He said, I'll pass it along. It's against my civil rights. I don't know if you know what this entails, like 30 pages. It asks your race. Yeah, this is not the race, not of Hispanic, you're Mexican American, Puerto Rican, Cuban, and then it asks your origin. If you're white, black, or African.
Yeah, it's a lot of statistical.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Your age, are you working? Your health care, when was the last time you worked? Do you have access to the internet? I mean, I've known census before. When I lived in Florida, they came to the door and we said, yeah, we answered it. They went away. But I called the census department in Tucson. The guy said I have to fill it out, or else I'm going to get fined by the federal government.
Scary,
and then I asked to speak. It's terrible. No, if someone can tell me about it, because I'm the only one that got this in where I live.
No, you're not the only person that's ever gotten this thing. People get it all the time.
Why does
She may be the only person she knows who received it. It's some sort of random, probably selection, likely, but that doesn't make you feel better about all the invasive questions they're asking. And any information you give to the government is inevitably going to be used against you, likely in some sort of way, whether it's rounding up the Japanese Americans in the 1940s.
Right. Well, that's what I feel. I feel like, why out of 122 apartments in this complex was I the only one that was picked? How did they pick me? And then the census said, it was just very random. And I feel I'm being discriminated against. They said they'll come to my door. If I don't let the man in, I can be fined $5,000. And
so
I feel
hold on. From everything that I've ever heard about
doesn't mean it will.
And I've known people that have gotten this weird thing.
Yep.
They've placed it in a shredder, and they've never had any government scary person come knock on their door. They've never gotten a fine. They've never gone to jail.
I can speak from personal experience.
Yeah, I have. I've had this happen to me too. Just not necessarily this one.
Did you have the community survey?
I had a business one specifically to businesses, and
from the Census Department.
Yeah, and I had a few letters, and I just ignored it.
Did they send threatening letters?
I don't know if they ever sent threatening letters, but they sent a follow-up saying,
"What was their scary government man that came knocking on your door?"
Well, honestly, the business was shut down, so I don't know what happened after that. But
okay, so let me give you. Go ahead.
This is anti-American, and I'm afraid. I'm like 71 years old.
Yeah,
it seems like it came from the Social Security office, or it asked what health insurance do I have, when did I last work, what do I pay for rent, what are my utility. I don't think
it's none of their business. It's none of their business, And you are. I agree with Darryl. I just want to be clear. We're not attorneys,
right?
But it's our understanding. It's our understanding that anyone who ignores this is left alone. They try to intimidate you into doing this stuff, but ultimately they're a paper tiger and they don't have any real backing behind any kind of enforcement.
No, they're the federal government.
Sure,
and my nephew
and
has done it in Florida. He said he did it, and he said you have to do it.
Well,
or else
don't
you
listen to
can be
what other
fined.
people say because they don't know what they're talking about.
But
Which
Ian,
includes
I'm
us.
all alone. Will you rescue me if someone comes and takes me?
I'm sorry, I can't get down to Albuquerque.
They're not gonna put a little old lady in prison.
No, they wouldn't want the publicity from that. But look, I'm not a little old lady. And they certainly wouldn't have a problem putting me in prison. So
they've tried.
Let me give you.
They've tried multiple times.
Let me give you my experience here from the actual census, which many people will tell you, yeah, it's constitutional. You got to answer the census.
Yeah, like
right?
the first two questions.
They'll say that, right? But I didn't answer any of their questions. And I specifically told them that I wasn't going to answer their questions, and they did. They will send someone to your door for the census. We've never heard of them sending somebody to your door for the American Community Survey, but they did send a follow-up person, and I told that person as well that I wasn't going to be answering their questions, and I got it on video as well. So if you search the Free Keen YouTube channel for census, you should find two videos one of the first visit and one of the second visit, and that was the last I heard from them. So
now let me ask you, maybe it's different in different states because you're in New Hampshire and New Mexico
federal, right?
is a Gestapo. I don't know.
It's federal.
In New York, they did. But in New York, they did come to the apartment. We said, yeah, we answered it.
Yeah,
they
they'll
left
come.
us alone. And Florida, too. But over here, she called me back, the supervisor from Tucson, and she said, well, we'll do it over the phone. They told me to do it on the computer. I mean, and then they said, you haven't answered it. And if you look on the Internet, people said you can be fined $5,000.
Well, people will say anything, and those people probably work for the census.
He said, I'm wasting the federal government taxpayers' money by not answering this Gestapo
They're wasting
thing.
their own money by sending it out to people.
Yeah,
right.
This is what you get.
Actually, hold on. I spoke incorrectly. They're wasting people's money by existing.
They're wasting your money.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have much money, but and I do live in subsidized housing. Maybe that gives them the right. But I mean, I filled out all the applications for compliance to live here. It's not like I'm lying, but having me fill out 30 pages, how many rooms, do I have a refrigerator? Do I have internet? Does anybody in the house have internet? I mean, I'm not in the mood for it.
Yeah,
and
who would be?
Nobody cares.
Well, I would say that we care about it, but as you pointed out, we can't come to your rescue if the Goon Squad comes to the door.
Yeah.
I don't think you're in any risk of just chucking the thing in the garbage personally and then ignoring them if they come to the door. You have no obligation to speak to any of these people. Just to be clear, again, I'm not an attorney, but in the case of police, you don't even have an obligation to speak to them, right?
Nope.
So you know that it's your right to remain silent, and anything you say can and probably will be used against you. Well, it's true that you have a right to remain silent when it comes to every single government bureaucrat out there, as far as I'm concerned.
Comes to the door, do I have to open the door and let him in?
Nope.
No.
And why would?
If they don't have a warrant, no.
Yeah, if there's a warrant, then you have to let them in, or they're going to break the door down. If there is no warrant, then they are doing what's called a contact. They are trying to gather information about either you or some other sort of incident that they believe that you have information about. And in most cases, giving the police information is not going to help you. It's going to make things worse.
Yeah, you're actually probably putting yourself at risk if you open the door for the police.
Look what happened to the last guy who tried that. He ended up getting killed.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. You don't have to. You have no obligation to open the door, and if there's no
right, they do it in all the movies and television shows because they want you to think you have to open the door for the police, and also that's how they move plots forward. But ultimately, in this case, if you want this plot to not move forward, do not open the door for the police. Do not talk to the police through the door.
I'm not, unless they break. I mean, New Mexico is a real Gestapo state. I've never had this happen before.
I found an article here from Frederick News Post where they've got a quote here from some respondent advocate for the census who said that there's about a 98% response rate.
For the ACS or census?
For this community survey thing. And he is not aware of anyone actually being penalized for not filling it out.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you how obedient people are. 98% of these people are
they're scaring people. They're scaring the little old ladies into taking this thing.
Marsha, let us know if anything develops. I appreciate your call tonight. Good luck. We got Hour 3 coming up here. Free Talk Live.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, June 1st, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.39 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,295 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $30, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,422. Antiwar.com reports the European Court of Human Rights concluded a protracted investigation into CIA black site detention centers within signatory countries on Thursday. The European Court of Human Rights concluded that both Romania and Lithuania knowingly hosted such detention sites. Poland had already been found 4 years ago to have done so as well. The secret detention centers contravene the European Human Rights Convention, of which the nations are signatories. The convention prohibits torture, and the courts noted that the nations definitely knew CIA treatments would be in violation of this. The two nations had yet to publicly admit to hosting the sites. Lithuania hosted a site from February 2005 to March 2006, while Romania's site went from September 2003 to November 2005. Lithuania's site included detention of Zain al-Abidin Mohammed Hussein, a stateless Palestinian whom Lithuania subsequently allowed the CIA to move to Afghanistan for further torture. Romania's site hosted Saudi national Abd al-Rahim Hussein Mohammed al-Nashiri, whom the U.S. is seeking the death penalty against. Supporting the death penalty is also in violation of the Human Rights Convention. The court had ordered both nations to conduct internal investigations into hosting of the illegal facilities and to punish all officials responsible for hosting the U.S. sites. Lithuania already did one investigation back in 2010, but claimed the site never hosted prisoners, which has since been disproven. Zen Cash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zen Cash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zen Cash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports healthcare organizations based in Boston hope to expand their clinical partnership to engage more veterans with mental health and substance use diagnoses. The groups unveiled the initiative Thursday at the annual conference of the National Coalition for Homeless Veterans in Washington. In a nearly 3-year program, the Boston Healthcare for the Homeless program had set up a full-service clinic on site at the New England Center and Home for Veterans. Lena Asmar, Director of Behavior Health Programs at the New England Center and Home for Veterans, said the clinic is a safe and welcoming environment where caregivers can provide case management and counseling to veterans who are struggling with mental health issues and active substance use. Asmar said other veteran care centers are still resistant to work with folks who use drugs in the way that we do. If they're intoxicated, we won't kick them out. Asmar told dozens of Veterans Affairs managers at the Grand Hyatt Hotel that the clinic applies a harm reduction approach, which respects the rights of patients who use illegal substances and aims to reduce negative consequences associated with drug use. The Boston Healthcare for the Homeless program and the New England Center and Home for Veterans started the office-based addiction treatment partnership in 2015 amid a rising number of opioid-related deaths among homeless veterans in the Boston area. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports 2 people were killed after floods triggered a landslide in North Carolina after Storm Alberto was downgraded to a post-tropical cyclone with diminished rainfall by the U.S. National Hurricane Center on Thursday. Jeff Virginia, spokesman for Watauga County Emergency Management, said rescue workers found 2 bodies after being alerted late Wednesday that the landslide had destroyed a home in Boone, North Carolina, in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Local media reported that heavy rains caused the landslide, which triggered a gas explosion. Video images posted to Twitter by the Boone Police Department showed an apparently charred home reduced to rubble. The National Hurricane Center said in its latest advisory that Alberto has become a post-tropical cyclone, adding flash flood watches remain in effect for the Western Carolinas, Northwest Virginia, and far eastern West Virginia. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
If you're the parent of a man-child, you know how frustrating it can sometimes be. The piercing sound of his video games waking you up at 2 in the morning. His insatiable hunger and inability to cook anything for himself. The messes he makes. The stress can be overwhelming.
Something will set them off, such as their man-child will tell them that they don't know how to tie a tie even though they're almost 30. They'll start shaking them and yelling and saying, "What the hell is wrong with you? Why don't you get a real job instead of working part-time at a board game store?"
The results of shaken man-child syndrome are devastating. Trauma caused by the brain colliding with the inside of the man-child's skull can lead to cognitive disabilities, making it even more unlikely he'll finally marry the girl he's been having a long-distance online relationship with for 6 years. Or it can even lead to death.
He's not spilling cereal all over the couch or leaving his beard clippings in the bathroom sink intentionally. He truly does not know what he's doing.
For the Lab Report, I'm Stuart Adams.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free, take control of the airwaves as we launch into the third hour of the program. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
We're talking about some outrageous police stories. It's a topic that we could do a lot more often on Free Talk Live because there are a lot of stories like this. I specifically don't do it simply because I'm so tired of hearing about it. It's just so outrageous, so often, so frustrating when you see and hear and see video from stories of police literally getting away with murder in many cases and then not having any kind of consequence whatsoever. In fact, in a lot of cases, the officer in question will receive a time off with pay, suspension with pay, while he's investigated by his own department.
Yeah.
Which inevitably returns a result of, well, Officer so-and-so is doing everything by the book. He's completely legitimately murdered this person.
I've seen stories where people have gotten promotions shortly afterward.
They'll get a medal for
unbelievable
for throwing a gas grenade into a baby's crib. Stuff like that.
They had no reason to believe that there would be a crib on the other side of that window, and they had no clue that there would be a baby sleeping in the crib. Yeah. Do you expect them to have X-ray vision?
So, and I don't know if that guy got a medal.
It's basically a paraphrase of what the judge said in that case.
Yeah. I don't know if that dude got a medal, but if that's the kind of thing that people get, promoted for. You're absolutely right. And it's so frustrating because people want to have something done about it. Their loved one has been killed or maimed, or their dog has been shot, or, whatever it is that the horrible thing the police have done. They've burned down somebody's house. They've arrested the wrong guy. They've raided the wrong house entirely. And they're lucky if they ever even get an apology from the police, let alone any kind of payout.
Yeah, you're supposed to, when you become an officer, you're swearing basically you're saying you're putting yourself your life at risk for the sake of the general public.
Well, that's what they want you to think.
What is on the cop cars? It's to protect and serve. Are you really protecting?
It doesn't say who they're protecting and serving.
You're jumping to the conclusion that they're serving you.
You're right, but that's the impression that they give.
That's the impression.
Right?
But the reality is they are protecting and serving their political masters.
They're protecting themselves and serving the people that are higher up than them.
Yeah.
I mean, if they wanted you, there's on what planet would anybody
Earth?
Yeah. Put down to protect and serve if they didn't intend that to mean, or at least let you believe that it was for the public.
That's how it goes here. Well, again, the public is also code. So the words in legal land mean different things.
Oh, do they ever?
The public means the government. So whenever you see government, it's interesting to watch this. Whenever you see government people talking about the public, just put in the words, take out the words the public, put in the words government, and you'll see what they're really saying.
All right, so public sector jobs versus private sector jobs.
Sure.
Public sector means you're getting a government paycheck.
Yep. Public means government. That's what it means. But they will use it with the intention of making you think that they're talking about all of us, when they're really just talking about them.
No. Yeah, anybody who's been, I don't want to say in the system, but anybody who's seen the system at work, unless you're a part of the system, you probably
you ain't them.
Yeah.
So the story for you just tuning in here, we were talking about swatting, which is this horrible phenomenon in recent years, last couple decades of probably the last 15 years or so, of typically people who are in video games getting mad at somebody else in a video game and taking it out on them by calling the cops in with a fake police report that makes the police think something violent is happening at that person's house. Yes. They then show up with the SWAT team, and in this most recent, or a recent case in Wichita, shot a man to death who was apparently standing in his front doorway. There's some video that's not really worth playing on the air because it's just a very short clip. You can hear them yelling at him and then a shot.
If you see this video, you will be outraged.
This is not the most outrageous. I've seen a lot of outrageous video. This one's too far away for you to really be outraged because it's shot from across the street and you can barely even see what happens in this video. Maybe it's a different video you're thinking
they're
of.
Yelling at him, walk off of the porch or something. Yeah. And he's doing what they're saying. He's just not doing it necessarily as fast.
You honestly can't see what he's doing. He just looks like he's standing in the doorway, and then he gets shot. I mean, it's literally a 10-second. I'll play it for you because I don't think anybody says the F-bomb or anything like that. I mean, I'll play it here just so you can see, or at least very least hear what this is. This is
and then describe to us what is happening.
So you've got this is across what appears to be a wide street here.
Yep.
The house isn't even in the full frame. It's like maybe an eighth of the frame. It's very, very small. So the doorway is like 1/40th of the frame. It's very, very small. So here it is across the street from behind a car. Some officers recording. This is it. Here it is.
Is he moving?
He appears to all you can see is what maybe is him standing in a doorway and maybe raising his arm after they say walk this way.
Well, they did say raise your hands and then walk this way.
Oh, I didn't hear what the first yell was.
The first thing was raise your hand.
Yeah. Well,
walk this way.
They were still talking to him.
And then when they said walk this way the second time, before they even finished saying it, he gets shot.
How is this not absolutely outrageous? This is based on unsubstantiated information that they got.
Let me tell you, there's a lot more outrageous police videos than this that we've seen.
Right,
I'm not saying what. I'm not saying.
I agree. There are more outrageous ones. All right.
Yeah. Like, the more you can see in a video, the more outrageous it would be. If we were closer up and we could see more of what was going on here, this is just, there's not much to say about this video. But again, the guy's standing there with cops across the street behind, metal cars. So the police are barricaded, basically. They're plenty safe.
Yeah. An unarmed man, by the way.
And this guy was unarmed, okay? So
the guy had no idea what was going on here.
Right. Cops just rolled up in front of his house and started shining spotlights at him and yelling at him.
I've got an article from the LA Times that actually gives some backstory
we'll get to
what happened
Rob's
here.
On the line here in Charleston, West Virginia, listening to WVTS. Hello, Rob.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, did y'all hear about the girl in New Jersey Beach and the cop?
I heard about it, but I didn't watch the video.
What had happened? Who? What? Where? What happened?
Well, in New Jersey, there was a girl. She was 20 years old. She was sitting on the beach with her friend and her 16-month-old baby, and she had in the wine cooler. I think it said a bag. It looked like a bag or something on beside her, but it wasn't open.
Mm-hmm.
So here comes these two cops up there, and they're asking her, you been drinking? She said, no, sir. So they breathalyzed this poor girl twice.
What?
And she passed. Yeah, she passes it both times. And so what happens is she did the ultimate crime. She told the cops, she said, you're mad because you thought we were drinking, and when you got over here, we weren't. So he starts getting a little bit mad about it, and he tells her, he said, what's your last name? She said, I'm not giving you my last name. And she turns around and starts to walk off, and he says, what's your phone number? And she walks off, and all of a sudden this cop goes, you're about to go down. He knocks this girl on the ground. She's probably 100 pounds at the most. And he's on top of her, and she's screaming, you're choking me, you're choking me. And then he takes his fist and punches her twice in the face.
Wow.
And then you can hear the crowd coming, the crowd getting upset. He says, back up, I need backup. So, and the girl's screaming. I mean, this poor girl is just screaming. I mean, if it had been my daughter, they'd shot me because I'd been on him. And, but anyway,
my God.
She's screaming to the top of her lungs. She's scared to death. Well, turned around, they're charging this girl with assault on a police officer because when he tackled her on the ground, she got sand in her mouth, and she was trying to spit it out. And they're saying that she spit on him.
In his face. Wow. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Welcome to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Does it make you long for home, Chris?
No, not at all. And I remember when that law, I'm pretty sure I remember when that law passed where basically spitting on a cop, and this was like in the 90s or 80s or something. And basically what happened is based on it all had to do with like AIDS and stuff like that. And so bodily fluids on a cop is it's like equivalent of murder almost.
An attempted murder.
Yeah, like attempted murder. It's the most ridiculous law and the most outrageous law.
So if the cop busts you open and you bleed on his hand,
yep,
assault on a police officer?
It's absolutely outrageous. Rob, thanks for bringing that to our attention. Is this a fresh video that you're talking about? This just recently happened?
Yeah.
I guess so. Hey, thanks, Rob, for the call. I appreciate it. We got more coming up here in moments. Like I said, these stories just don't end.
Nope.
It's Free Talk Live.
From the sixth letter of Captain Mark. A pirate's life is characterized by voluntary interactions. Unfortunately, the Crown presses everyone into involuntary servitude. Landlubbers believe slavery was abolished years ago, but the Crown still claims to own us when it crimps us into service against our will. Given sufficient ambition, it would gladly draft thousands of hapless victims to kill or be killed. It's simply slavery by another name. Landlubbers are routinely commanded to serve the so-called justice system in jury duty. But before you swell with civic pride, consider that how you feel is irrelevant to the Crown. You will appear as ordered or face punitive measures. The Crown insists that you participate in your own oppression. A jury summons provides pirates with a unique opportunity to obstruct injustices. A juror can vote not guilty, even if it's proven the law was violated. A juror can acquit for any reason at all, and not even a judge can reverse that verdict. Receiving a jury summons is basically winning the sedition lottery. But if you reveal that you know this during jury selection, you'll probably be dismissed. If the Crown foolishly crimps a pirate into jury duty, it behooves the pirate to conceal their intention to nullify unjust laws. If a master takes 100% of your labor, it's called slavery. But if they only take 50%, they call it taxation. A difference of degree, not of kind. Whether the Crown claims a fortune or a cent is irrelevant. Most of all, a slave owner desires contented slaves, meaning thoughtless ones that accept their bondage. These house slaves see no contradiction in being drafted in a war to end slavery or summoned to a jury to prosecute tax evasion. An ideal slave knows no higher call than the master's will. The Crown's highest ambition is that its slaves revere the authority that subjugates them. But the Crown does not own me. I will not surrender my time and treasure to the Crown's ambitions. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. It's cop abuse night here because there's no shortage of stories that we can continue to... We could fill 3 hours a night, 7 nights a week. I swear to you, if we wanted to, we could do that.
There have been shows that have done nothing but...
Yes, Cop Block Radio used to be a thing. Yeah. So it's Ian, Chris, and Darryl in the studio here tonight. Now, of course, you can bring up whatever you want. You don't have to stay on this particular topic because this can just go and go and go. We were in the middle of talking about swatting. Now... we're brought to a story by one of our callers out of your old home state of New Jersey, Chris.
Yep.
Where apparently police have attacked a beach bunny. So you think it's just the cops are going after, the black guy in Miami who's pounding out the beats in his garage and getting shot to death. Luckily, this girl didn't get shot to death, but she did get a pretty severe beating, completely unnecessarily by the police in this particular case. And I think it's worth pointing out, this girl appears to be white. So I just want to point that out because there's this narrative out there, which is a false narrative that says, oh, only black people get hurt and or attacked or shot or whatever by the police. And it's like, no, they definitely do attack black people plenty often, but they also attack everybody else as well.
Yeah,
so everybody is in danger from these people. It is not necessarily an anti-black thing. It's a power thing.
It's you know what I think it is. There's certain groups of people who are disproportionately being abused and attacked.
No doubt.
I think what it is. Young people is one of those groups.
She is 20.
Absolutely.
In this case.
I think somebody at my age who's white male probably not so much, especially if you have a little bit of money. And it's obvious, but
if you're driving a Jaguar down the street, you're less likely to get pulled over in the first place.
Right. Depending on the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You drive that Jaguar through the hood, you're getting pulled over faster than you can say blue light.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
What the hell is somebody doing driving a Jaguar through this type of neighborhood? Where'd you get that money? Oh, you must have bought this with drug money.
I see what you're
this
saying.
Is coming with us now.
Yeah, that could happen. That could happen. So you can talk about whatever you want here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Blank Home Security Systems. Good idea to have cameras, and the more cameras you have, the better off you're going to be. Whether it be from being attacked by the police or by some other regular criminal, The Blink home security system can help you out over at blinkprotect.com/FTL. You get this wireless home security system, which makes it super easy to install. It really doesn't get easier than this, and I speak from experience having dealt with wired systems, and the Blink home security system, way easier. You unbox it, you put the batteries in, you put the cameras up wherever you want to, move them around if you don't like their positioning, and then you set it all up via a Wi-Fi enabled device like a tablet or a smartphone, and then whenever you're not there, or you can set the hours when you want it to be active, it will send you clips of whatever it is that goes on in front of the camera during those time frames. So blinkprotect.com/FTL. You get 15% off when you go to that URL, the already very affordable Blink home security system. blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. As we continue here now, we have not yet watched the full video of the woman being attacked on the New Jersey beach. However, police have released their body cam footage, or at least segments of their body cam footage, but thankfully there were other people on the beach at the time that this was happening, and so you don't have to rely on just the police to release their footage, because there's other footage out there by nearby bystanders who happen to be in the vicinity and who cared enough about this situation to pull out their phone and begin recording whenever it was that they did that. So there is footage here on thehill.com has an article about this describing what happens, and they have two clips, one from the police, one from one of the viewers that was there present. And yeah, this cop is absolutely physically attacking and smothering this girl and punching her in the head. And this girl is like your typical hottie beach bunny babe. Like, she's probably not more than 100 pounds, and she has some fat cop, laying all over top of her.
Right. So I was curious if New Jersey had one of these you must identify laws like
most
some places
states do, I think.
According to the ACLU of New Jersey, police in New Jersey may not request your ID or demand your name unless they are issuing you a court summons.
Really? Well, because he would have had probable cause, likely, in this circumstance, given that she may have had possession or nearby possession or whatever of an alcoholic beverage.
I've refused ID in New Jersey, and I never had any issue.
Okay. Even if they were questioning you on a suspected crime?
Walking down the street.
ACLU New Jersey says they can't demand this information unless they are giving you a summons.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, they might have been trying to give her a summons because she did allegedly have an alcoholic beverage either nearby her or perhaps even in her possession. That's what all this is about. That's why this woman had her head beaten on by a cop and shoved into the sand and deprived of oxygen because of something in a glass bottle. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. That's how insane this is.
She is guilty of the same thing that Edward Snowden is guilty of, the same thing that Chelsea Manning is guilty of, the same thing that Ross Ulbricht is guilty of. And it's the only thing that's illegal in this country, and that is disobeying.
Yeah.
You did not sit down, shut up, and do what you were told. Therefore, you are guilty and you deserve to die.
It's outrageous.
Basically what we've learned tonight.
And that somebody could be breathalyzed on the beach? What? Is that a thing in Jersey? Is that something that happens in other places? Breathalyzed? What?
Drunk in public. You're not allowed to be drunk in public. Plus, she's 20.
So
you're not allowed to be drunk if you're 20. Doesn't matter where you are.
In New Jersey, you can even refuse the roadside breathalyzer, and until you're actually arrested and taken to the station, it's not a crime.
It's not your job. In a lot of states, you supposedly agree to it when you sign the driver's license, right? Like, supposedly that's part of the deal, is that you get your driver's license
after you've been arrested for it, being suspected or something to that effect. And
in
then
Jersey,
once you've hit the station and it's a chemical breathalyzer that they ask you to take, and if you refuse at that point, then it's a crime and they can take away your license. But it's not a crime to refuse the roadside breathalyzer. It's not a crime to refuse to walk the line.
Chris
or any
is not
other
an attorney, but that's your experience in Jersey.
Yes, this is correct. This is my understanding based on a lawyer's advice.
But what I was saying was, in most states, the ones where they demand that you take a breathalyzer or else on the side of the road, they're going to say, well, you agreed to this when you signed the driver's license. However,
that's the argument.
She's on a beach, and so you are not obligated, my understanding is you have no obligation to assist the police in their prosecution of you.
Of course not.
And so by giving them a breathalyzer, if you're just sitting on a beach because some cop comes up and, sees an alcoholic beverage near you, again, I don't know if she had it in her hand. The way the caller described it was just on the, the sand or in a bag. So he sees an alcoholic beverage and then he demands a breathalyzer test. It would seem to me that she would have been within her rights to refuse that test in that particular case.
By being under the age of 21.
But how would they know? If you don't have to ID yourself?
You're trying to use logic here. But by being under 21, she, implicitly agreed that she would not get intoxicated because reasons.
And I bet you, I'd be willing to bet you money that every one of the cops involved in this case also had a drink under age of 21.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But not on the beach.
Guaranteed.
And I bet you they'll testify in court that, they smelled alcohol on her breath or something.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I'll take this story, put it on our show prep on the Free Talk Live forum in case you want to check it out. We'll continue here in moments, and we'll take your calls and your thoughts about what you want on the radio here on Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free if you want. You can join us here on the radio. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. We're talking about more abusive police stories. And the most recent event coming out of New Jersey on a beach where police attacked a woman who was minding her own business, just enjoying her day with what appears to be her young child, 18-month-old child, and her boyfriend, and accused of having an alcoholic iced tea. Which, of course, makes the cops crazy when somebody does the exact same thing that those very same cops probably did when they were a young person, which is to say have a beer or a
probably
drink.
Still do. Don't cops have a higher than average rate of alcoholism?
I think that's absolutely true. We can continue with all of this and more and maybe get back to swatting as well. But first, let's go to Bob. He's in Jackson, Michigan, listening to WKHM. Hey, Bob.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Welcome. You're on the air. Great.
Good. Hey, I was wondering. I always wondered why, even the police, nobody wants to really knock them down or anything because they do have a tough job. They don't make a lot of money, but when they have a police chase, they will yank the guy out, and there's 5 or 6 guys just taking all that adrenaline out on the guy.
Yeah.
Or remember the black gentleman in New York that was selling single cigarettes?
Yep.
Eric Garner.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they choked him to death.
Yeah.
Yep.
In front of a camera.
And then charged the guy with the camera for some kind of crime.
Oh, yeah. They went after the guy with the camera on multiple occasions after that.
Yeah. And then tried to poison him while he was in Rikers Island.
That happened too. Yep.
Oh,
Sorry,
wow.
Go ahead.
But, these cops are built like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you wonder if these cops who have to keep up and be able to handle the bigger kids, you got these 20-year-old kids that look like they've been, training for boxing, but they have to bulk up. And you wonder how many of them are on steroids or testosterone shots.
How many of the cops, you mean?
And then their anger, the cops.
Yeah, that's not unheard of at all.
Anger and their, it's what?
I said it's not unheard of at all. It's fairly common for police to be common steroid users.
There was actually legislation introduced in New Hampshire a couple of years ago that would have required that police be tested for steroids, and of course it didn't pass.
Who testified against that one, I wonder?
The police unions.
Of course.
Of course they did. Things that make you go,
Well, yeah. So these cops are trying to balk up, and they're probably on the shots, and their temperament is just it goes from 0 to 100 like right now.
Yep.
And there's just a lot of too many cases where these cops are just there's no questioning, there's no holding back. Or if there was a police chase, there should be 3 or 4 cops that got radios and to kind of take over the situation before these other cops get a hold of the guy and just let all that rage that they've been building up through the chase and beat the hell out of the guy. But it's just, you wonder if, like I say, the steroids have got to be a big part, and you don't ever hear much testing after the fact. I'm sure.
Well, even if it's not the steroids, it's still an addiction to an adrenaline rush, which we had Barry Cooper on with us years ago. It's been probably a decade since we had Barry on. Who's a former narcotics star cop in Texas. Like, he was the top narcotics officer in Texas for a long time, and he turned to the side of good and spoke out against the police, spoke out against the war on drugs. And Barry, when he was being interviewed on Free Talk Live, which you can probably still download over at our guest page at guest.freetalklive.com, but he talked about what it was like when he first became a cop, was that he would get an adrenaline rush from just pulling somebody over for speeding. just because, you don't know what's going to happen. Could be that person's going to shoot you or something like that. It could be a scary kind of situation dealing with somebody who's strange, and there's there was a rush that he was getting from it. But after a short while, that rush went away. He became acclimated to the situation,
right?
And then he started to look for other ways that he could find that adrenaline rush feeling again. And so he gave us an example of something he would do regularly, which is to say, let's say he was pulling somebody out of a car while searching it or something like that, and he would let that person sit on the side of the road without being handcuffed. When he would have had the legal justification at that point, for whatever reason, to handcuff the person, he'd leave them unhandcuffed in the hopes that they would get up and run, so he would have the chance to run after them and tackle them.
Right. It's like the cop version of the adrenaline junkies.
That's what it is, literally what it is.
Yep.
So again, even if it's not roids, there's still a junkie aspect of just the high that they get from attacking somebody. I remember seeing it happen in real life here in Keene, New Hampshire one night, where this was before you were here, Chris, but we had some cop blocking activities going on, and a lot of times you see the police down in the college neighborhood, and in this case there's this skinny sheriff who I'd really gotten along with well. Like, he always was in good spirits, was always jovial, friendly to talk to, and I never would have pictured him as some sort of raging, angry cop, but I got to see him in that particular way, and it was when there was some drunk kid that they were dealing with who was stupid, of course. He's a drunk college student. He's being talked to by the police. He makes a break for it, and he starts just booking it away from the cops. And so this cop goes into total takedown mode and completely unfeeling. He just became total automaton police officer in that moment, and he went and he tackles this dude when that was probably an unnecessary response to just some kid who was being accused of having an unopened or an open container of alcohol. I mean, the kid, you shouldn't run from the cops. I get that, but it was just interesting watching him switch from this sort of typical nice guy cop into total takedown mode.
It's
angry
easy to
cop.
say you shouldn't run from the cops, but if the cops are doing something to you and they're being malicious, it seems like the most logical, rational reaction.
Well, I
if you know
understand
a
that.
cop's going to shoot you.
Guilty.
Well, I understand that.
I mean, I would
But in
rather
this
run
case-
from the cops and maybe have a chance of living than
Well,
being
it wasn't
shot.
that. He was
No, dude. There are multiple reports of people that have run from the
more
cops
likely to get
and
killed
been
by
shot
them.
in the back.
Yeah.
But if a
and
cop
killed.
pulls his gun
That's
on
not what
you,
happened here. This was
I
a citation
understand
for an
that.
open container.
I understand that, but
this
I
was
don't
the
know.
most routine
I don't
Saturday
know
night.
I don't know what went down here.
Let me say something.
Yeah, please.
The cops are dealing with, just like you guys are saying, that pretty much every time they come up against anybody, it's like a test. These kids are like, I hope I get shot, but still live through it because it's payday. And so they're more.
Nobody says
when
that.
I was a kid, got pulled over, I had my hands on top of the steering wheel, even when I was 16. And I didn't badmouth them. I was scared to death because it was basically my dad all over again. You didn't disrespect. These kids don't have no respect for the cops. And then the cops constantly, day in and day out, have to tolerate or deal with people like this. And we're looking at it like, well, this is probably one incident that this cop had. He went off and had a problem. But these guys live this day in and day out, and we seem to forget that.
Yeah, but no. You're also forgetting the fact that
themselves.
the reason people don't have respect for the police is because they haven't earned it. Just because you throw a badge on doesn't mean that you deserve respect. As a human being, I respect other human beings unless I'm given a reason not to. And most cops have given me plenty of reason not to because of the way they disrespect individuals. This woman was on the beach in New Jersey minding her own business, and they came up and messed with her. She wasn't hurting anybody, and nobody had a problem with her being there with her child and her boyfriend. But the cops had a problem with it because of some stupid law that some politicians wrote that says that you can't have a container of alcohol if you're under the age of 21, and then she ended up getting beaten for it. It's crazy.
And there was
How do
probably
you
a
respect
prohibition
that?
about having glass bottles on the beach.
There's that one too.
And the image that cops don't get paid, anything is nonsense. The guy who arrested me in Manchester was making six figures. You can't tell me. And that doesn't
Officer
include,
Harrington?
Yeah, he's making.
Badge
It was
number
like
one.
100 and something.
He's
100,
old. He's been there a
20,000.
while.
He is, but that doesn't include the amount of money that he was making for extra overtime,
benefits.
and it doesn't include the benefits. He was making more money than probably almost
the average person he's arresting.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, thanks for the
But
thoughts.
Then it needs.
Yep. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But then it needs to have a little bit of the fear that it needs to get back to where the cops boss come out and say, okay, everybody's got a camera. You're going to lose your job, and you're going to have to. But a lot of cops around
if
here,
only they did.
$29,000 a year.
They don't, and that's the problem.
$29,000 a year.
And they won't lose their
And the
jobs.
fact that-
And they know it.
Yeah.
Bob, thanks for the
And
call
they don't
tonight,
have
man.
a lot to lose.
I appreciate it. There's
Okay.
more coming up here. Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
A cool guy from middle school is still sporting his fat pair of Jinkos. A stunned St. Peter's Square crowd hears the Pope getting bitched out by God, and an 8th grader caked in makeup is probably really confident. This is The Onion Week in Review. This week, a Pew Research Center poll found that the vast majority of Americans would watch a television show called Love Trap, with most saying that regardless of the show's genre or quality, they would tune in weekly to see its stars stumble into romantic triangles, double-cross one another, and contend with whatever the titular love trap refers to. The survey confirmed that 62% of Americans would likely watch Love Trap to see a shrewd but cold-hearted Southern belle named Tammy. 23% of the nation hoped the show would be referred to as The Trap by its most loyal fans, and 15% of respondents said they simply needed something to watch. And in this week's Science News, a biologist completes a 5-minute study of the pathetic organism in his mirror. In other news, a man confidently hits send on the worst job application a company has ever seen.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Yeah, it is Free Talk Live. Any of you can bring up what you want. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
You know, I do want to say that I want to like the police. I find a lot of them individually likable. Like here in the Keene area in New Hampshire where we live, I know many of these cops. I mean, I don't know them intimately, but I have an acquaintance with them, right? I know them by first name.
Right.
And
you exchange pleasantries if you see one another.
Yeah, I just saw one of the regular candidates for sheriff on the streets 2 days ago.
All right.
And went up, said hello, shook his hand. His name's Ed,
You're disturbingly nice, actually, to these guys.
I'm very, very nice.
I would not treat them anywhere nearly as
I see them
civil as you.
I see
and
them
I'm not one to go up to a cop and start like bad mouthing them or or anything. But I mean,
I see them as human
I'm not going to thank them or whatever for harassing me.
No, I wouldn't thank them for that either. I criticize them when they're doing the wrong thing, and I try to praise them when I see them doing the right thing because they do sometimes do the right thing. But in a lot of cases, they do the wrong thing, and I'm going to call them out for it. They, when I moved to Keene, New Hampshire, the police became a less diffuse concept and a more real thing, meaning that, if you are in a big city, they're just the police, right? You might see the same one twice in, 10 years or something like that. It would not be that common for you to see, like if you're in New York City, to encounter the same cop over and over again. But in Keene, New Hampshire, there's only 40 of them. So,
there's 40 officers?
I think it might be up to like 44 or something like that.
Really?
But, yeah, uniformed. So not including the office staff. There's more if you include the office staff.
Wow.
But yeah, so there's several dozen uniformed officers. And if you're out and about and you're doing things like cop block or know your rights activism or whatever, you're going to meet them. And you're going to have... you don't have to converse with them, but sometimes I do, and I realize that's a risky thing, but it's usually, just kind of pleasantries, so it's not like, we're getting into a dangerous area. Or I'll ask them questions about, the things that they're doing, because, again, he who's asking the questions is winning in a situation like that. But, they're people, and they're people who have made mistakes, and they believe things that are wrong. Like that it's okay to arrest somebody for having a plant, or it's okay to arrest somebody for having a can of a fluid that has alcohol in it if they're under the age of 21. All these ridiculous prohibitions that they're tasked with enforcing. And I just don't think that we're going to change hearts and minds by yelling and being angry at them. That's not to say I haven't been upset at some of the things they've done and expressed that.
I'm not convinced we can change their minds. Like,
no, I'm not trying to convince you of that.
Yeah.
Not trying to.
No, I know you're not trying to convince me of that, but you're saying that you're saying that you're trying to convince them of that.
No, I didn't say that. I said I don't think that we can. I'm not saying that it's possible.
Okay.
I'm not saying what I believe. Each individual officer is an individual person. But I can tell you this. We did have a corrections officer quit his job because of the conversations that people like me and Rich Paul had with him while we were on the inside of the Keene jail, the Keene spiritual retreat, as we like to call it here in town. He quit his job, and he was the keynote speaker at Keenvention, the first year of Keenvention. Did you see that one coming?
I think I know what you're talking about, but see that one coming? No, I'm not saying I wouldn't say all cops are necessarily out there to be bad people, but certainly I think most of them are.
Would you have predicted that one would quit his job based on having simple conversations?
I certainly could see it being a possibility. I wouldn't necessarily think I would.
If it's a possibility, then do you think it would be possible?
I think it's unlikely. I think it's unlikely.
That's fine. If it was a possibility, do you think it would be a possibility if the only way that cop had ever been treated by us, or in this case, corrections officer, was "F you pig, you effing suck, and you blah 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 blah"? Just constant insults, constant rudeness. So I try to be nice, try to treat people like.
It's the whole catch more flies with honey.
Yeah, I try to treat people with respect and how I would want to be treated.
It's certainly a good approach, I think.
Yeah. So, by the way, I do want to let you know. I mentioned earlier. I can't forget our new station, and I almost did. So welcome to WRKQ AM 1250 in Madisonville, Tennessee, to Free Talk Live. They are carrying our show weeknights 9 to 10 Eastern Time. So you guys are getting us every single night. Welcome to the show. If you're a new listener of Free Talk Live, I think we started sometime this week.
Hold on, is it weeknights or every night?
I believe
because we're live
weeknights.
all 7 nights of the week.
I believe they're just taking us weeknights.
Okay.
I don't have the exact schedule in front of me right now, but I believe that was it. So that's why I had to wait until 9 to welcome them. So welcome. If you're new to the show, then you probably are shocked at the fact that you're hearing these kinds of discussions on the radio. But we really are open phones, really every single night, and we will take your calls about anything. In fact, somebody's calling from St. Pete, Florida. Melinda, claiming to listen on FM. Are you really listening to us on the radio in St. Petersburg?
I'm not in St. Petersburg right now, but I'm from.
Oh, where are you calling from tonight?
I'm in Gainesville.
We're on FM in Gainesville?
Mm-hmm. 96.3.
Okay. Well, thank you for that information. We will definitely take a look into that and see if we can figure out which station that is, because offhand, it doesn't ring a bell to me. So I'm always glad to find out we're on mystery stations out there that are airing the show, whether they be pirate radio or FCC licensed. We don't care. Welcome to the show, Melinda. Excuse me. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I just was driving and happened to click on. I haven't heard your show before, but my husband's a police officer, and the comment about making a lot of money, unfortunately, that's not true.
It depends on where you are.
Really bothered me. I'm sorry?
It depends on where you are.
Yeah, what's he make, if you mind?
And where are we talking about, too?
In Central Florida.
Yeah, so do you mind sharing what he makes?
Probably around $37,000 a year.
Plus benefits, right?
No, that's including everything.
Includes everything. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's not a whole lot.
Benefits,
and we don't. I'm not sure where this is. I'm not sure what the cost of living is there.
Probably low.
Okay.
But Melinda, okay, so he doesn't make as much.
At what point is he in his career? Is it like early on, or is he later, an older man?
No, he's been 9 years.
Okay. Yep. All right. So.
But anyway, my point is, I just think that you guys, you don't understand what it's like for him, for his friends, for anyone in law enforcement that goes out there every day and puts their life on the line.
Are they putting their lives on the line when they stop a college-age person who's 20 years old from drinking, having a beer?
Do you know when you stop that car, what's going to happen inside the car?
I'm not even talking about somebody in a car. I'm talking about somebody on the streets.
I mean, this is propaganda. I mean, you're saying.
And I do know what happens because I've watched it happen. I've watched it happen where they've made college girls cry.
I've lived it.
I'm a former corrections officer. I know what the job entails.
Okay, you were a Florida corrections officer?
Yeah. So you said that none of us know anything about what the job is. I'm former corrections, so I'm well aware of what goes into law enforcement. I don't know what your husband's situation is because I don't live in Gainesville.
How could you say that anyone in law enforcement doesn't deserve any respect? How could you say that?
I never said that.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
I never said that.
Individuals might deserve respect, okay, but police as a whole have not demonstrated that we should respect them.
As long as they respect you as a person when they're talking to you, it's a different situation when you come against someone who's rude or, but
what's not respectful, though, is where they take somebody who has not harmed another human being.
Which is most situations and interactions with cops.
And they put that person in handcuffs and throw them in a cell. That's not very respectful, is it?
And that's not what I'm talking about.
But that's what happens day in and day out. And I bet your husband's done that.
Day in and day out?
Huh?
Cops get shot because
that's not true.
Dude, cops are one of the safest jobs in America.
It's not even one of the most dangerous jobs.
Oh, man, these people disgust me.
Also, and how many times do cops get shot? It's almost always when they're raiding somebody's house, Melinda. I mean, I understand you don't want to, admit the violence that happens behind this because you love your husband and he probably treats you really well. So you don't want to see him in this light. And maybe he is one of these good cops out there.
Really well.
Huh?
And there's plenty of cops that do treat people very well.
So you mean they're going to ignore? Hold on. You mean those cops will ignore me if I'm walking down the street smoking a joint in front of them?
No, absolutely not.
Well, then they're not treating me well. If they're coming, look, lady, if they come to me and they say, hey, you put that out or we're going to put you in a cage, you put that joint out or we're going to put you, well, they won't even say that. They're not going to give you a chance. They're just going to take you, they're going to grab you, and they're going to throw you in a cage because you had a burning cigarette to your lips with a plant that somebody ground up and put it in there, and they're going to act like that's some kind of a threat, and you're going to defend that?
That's not true, and nobody said that that was a threat. That doesn't mean they're
I
gonna
wish we had
lock
more
you
time
up.
with you, Melinda, because you're absolutely delusional, and I would love to continue talking with you about this, but unfortunately we're out of time tonight. You can call us any other time during the week.
Yeah, please call
and
back.
you can explain to us how the police throwing me in a cage for smoking a joint isn't a threat. I would really love to hear about that. We'll see you tomorrow, freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
The Torchwood Report is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, June 1st, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.39 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,295 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $30, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,422. Antiwar.com reports the European Court of Human Rights concluded a protracted investigation into CIA black site detention centers within signatory countries on Thursday. The European Court of Human Rights concluded that both Romania and Lithuania knowingly hosted such detention sites. Poland had already been found 4 years ago to have done so as well. The secret detention centers contravene the European Human Rights Convention, of which the nations are signatories. The convention prohibits torture, and the courts noted that the nations definitely knew CIA treatments would be in violation of this. The 2 nations had yet to publicly admit to hosting the sites. Lithuania hosted a site from February 2005 to March 2006, while Romania's site went from September 2003 to November 2005. Lithuania's site included detention of Zain al-Abidin Mohammed Hussein, a stateless Palestinian whom Lithuania subsequently allowed the CIA to move to Afghanistan for further torture. Romania's site hosted Saudi national Abd al-Rahim Hussein Mohammed al-Nashiri, whom the U.S. is seeking the death penalty against. Supporting the death penalty is also in violation of the Human Rights Convention. The court had ordered both nations to conduct internal investigations into hosting of the illegal facilities and to punish all officials responsible for hosting the U.S. sites. Lithuania already did one investigation back in 2010, but claimed the site never hosted prisoners, which has since been disproven. Zen Cash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zen Cash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zen Cash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. UPI reports healthcare organizations based in Boston hope to expand their clinical partnership to engage more veterans with mental health and substance use diagnoses. The groups unveiled the initiative Thursday at the annual conference of the National Coalition for Homeless Veterans in Washington. In a nearly 3-year program, the Boston Healthcare for the Homeless program had set up a full-service clinic on site at the New England Center and Home for Veterans. Lena Asmar, Director of Behavior Health Programs at the New England Center and Home for Veterans, said the clinic is a safe and welcoming environment where caregivers can provide case management and counseling to veterans who are struggling with mental health issues and active substance use. Asmar said other veteran care centers are still resistant to work with folks who use drugs in the way that we do. If they're intoxicated, we won't kick them out. Asmar told dozens of Veterans Affairs managers at the Grand Hyatt Hotel that the clinic applies a harm reduction approach, which respects the rights of patients who use illegal substances and aims to reduce negative consequences associated with drug use. The Boston Healthcare for the Homeless program and the New England Center and Home for Veterans started the office-based addiction treatment partnership in 2015 amid a rising number of opioid-related deaths among homeless veterans in the Boston area. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks.